It's time for change to move into the real work of the universe. And it's time to understand that we use the matter state to reach the level of understanding of the soul of the man. Now you understand maybe why the Creator has sent his messengers in the name of whatever you have had. Is that they bring the ears, that it can be used when the time of the Messiah comes. They can teach the soul and the message, not to oppose. But by them understanding through those who have become Messiahs, to give from their souls to these to elevate, the job is made easy. The school is there and the students are devotedly there. Then there won't be any fight between what they call the Muslims and the Christians. The lamb and the lion will eat and sleep in the same nest. The Christians and the Muslims will sleep and pray in the mosque and in the same church in the name of their souls, not in the name of religion. That is used to create so much conflict for the benefit of those who were the hyperactive children. The time has come, the time of change is here. And as I said, my wish is my command. If it's your wish to see peace, the path of peace is laid very clearly. It's the soul of the collective awareness. By giving will create that position of change. No other thing. There is no pen in the soul of the man. And I'm sure once you go into the universal community, you will never see anything written but the balance of the fields of the soul of the existence. Try to be humble enough not to become arrogant in the power that you have understood and you possess. Otherwise, you'll fall in the same path of the church and the mosque. This is what we promised, and this is what we have delivered. We have to understand the operation of the soul, and we have to understand the soul of the man is a star in the cosmos of the universe. If we compare the soul of the man and many of us, 7 billion in one collection, Earth is like a galaxy with so many stars. When we look in the depth of the universe, we see galaxies with hundreds of millions of stars in it. So is the planet Earth. It carries 7 billion beautiful stars, which are the soul of the man. Carries with it soul of so many trillions of animals, plants, and everything else. So if you look, when someone who does not see the physicality of the earth and its content, what do they see? They see a galaxy with so many beautiful lights shining, each one according to their strength, each one according to their position. An infant has a beautiful soul, so has the old man. To those who do not see the physical dimension of this planet, but they see the strength of the field, we are clusters of stars. The human race, every single soul, no one from a distance sees that's the soul of a fisherman, that's the soul of the cosmologist, that's the soul of a president. They all shine irrespective of the physicality. This is the magic. This is what the new science has to bring to man. When we look through our soul, we see nothing but we star in the other souls. And this is the break. This is the understanding. This is what all these teachings are about. Coming to mature to the next level, to understand in the deep space, the universe is the oyster for those souls who serve. Then man is ready to go into space. Then man is ready to become part of the universal community which has been promised. I never promised you heaven. I always promised you the elevation of the man to join the family. And now you have the key. It's you who has to open the door to understand, if I can raise the soul of these people or millions of other souls, that the physical life on this planet changes, then I'm worthy to be part of the universal community. To be there to serve, to expand. To be there, to be part, that in the cycle of life of universe, I become, in being part, I become part of the totality. When man reaches that point, a new dimension in the strength of the soul of the man will appear, which is beyond imagination of understanding of the physical life. It's the gate to the opening of the new life, in a new dimension, which is beyond imagination of what you might call a new beginning, a new cycle. Which that cycle carries with itself the origin of the creation of life in the universe and the universe. It's the elevation of the soul to serve become the key, not a throne of the physical life. The time is right. The time has come for the man to go through this process.
Welcome everyone to the 219th Knowledge Seekers Workshop for Thursday, April 12th, 2018. I'm your host, Rick Crammond, and as usual, we'll be speaking with and listening to Mr. Keshe of the Keshe Foundation. And I think Mr. Keshe has probably got to be the busiest being in this side of the universe, I think. He's got lots he's going on, and maybe he'll tell us a little bit of what's happening. I think you're ready to go, Mr. Keshe. Please
Yes.
enlighten us.
Thank you very much. Good day to you. Good morning, good afternoon, good day, wherever you listen to these workshops. And somehow we have managed to gather a strength. We are doing a lot of things, and at the same time, a lot of things come into fruition. The family is growing bigger, and if we get it right, it becomes the whole of the human race family. We have to understand the process we have started, the condition we have started. As you are fully aware, as of Saturday this week, from 10 o'clock Central European time, for 2 days, we go through the process of the whole package of being a man of space. What has happened in the past, airline, what you call it, space agencies, They do their little work in the background and they come and say, such a day we have a flight, everybody watch. We don't know what goes on in the background. It's all hidden secret. Whatever they want to load up, we never know. But this time, we all know what we're going to load up. Is a bunch of human beings are very excited to go into space. But we have to show how we build it together. The teaching, or what we call the blueprint for a spaceship, this Saturday is not that we're going to show a flight. We are going to show the totality of the life in a space. This is important. Is not, we work as one nation, as one race, as one team. So different arms of the Keshe Foundation who's done research or involved in different part of the research on Saturday and Sunday show the whole process of it. If you notice with the space agencies, they all have to do their works in the background. Nobody knows who does the food. Nobody knows who does the whatever. And then the guy's in there and he goes and it's like a baby, pampered and given something. You eat this time, you eat that time. Mama tells what to do. And they literally babysit these people. At the moment, we see the space lab has been going on for years. They try to feed and we see the situation. If they don't get there on time, the guys go hungry. If one of their launches goes wrong, the supply runs out. Our guys up there have no water, no air most probably as such, and no food. The difference with the new space technology is we have everything. We have developed every aspect of it. These are the first frontiers in the science of space. What we had up to now, jet propulsion, masks and space suits and the rest of it, and the question if the man landed on the moon or not, all goes through the window, because now we do it collectively, we do it as one race, and you'll find out and you will see that the governments will join us. There is no alternative race. They don't have anything to match, and they cannot match because they never brought all their divisions together to work as one nation. With the beauty of this Saturday, Sunday is, we, us, as Keshe Foundation, show the world how it's done. How done in this space, how we can overcome all our needs, independence from the planet, and a very secretive society of space people, which is all of us human race. The only thing we are keeping secrets from is the fish, the cat, the dog, and the birds. And hopefully we teach them one day too. So these secret flight, secret missions, everything, nobody knows what's going to happen till the last minute, making videos to lie if it doesn't happen, all goes through the window. We will see how the food is made. We will see how the materials are made. We will see how we can decontaminate the space of us and in the space. We'll see how we make new homes, how we make shelters. We'll see how to make the fuel. We'll see the first stages of what we call space reactors. Today, this morning, I was going through it with our team, and they've achieved another milestone, which is the conversion of the fields into matter. And this conversion of the fields to matter creates heat. So what they're feeling is heat around the what they call the space launch vehicle, and this means the fields are radiating out, and the interaction with the matter state, like the way the sun hits the surface of the earth, creates heat. Now we are in that phase, which is the next step advance into it. Now this heat will convert into matter. They have managed to diverge a lot of fields downwards. This was one of the things they were trying to do. Now, what they will try to do in the next couple of days and in coming time is to increase the speed of toroidal force, which I explained to you, into splashing fields, that hopefully we start seeing the next steps of what is called the shimmers and the physical structure. I've asked the team this morning as we were watching it, it was getting tested, that they can feel the heat. Now we're trying to compact the heat. Then it's the interaction of the plasmatic field with the what we call Earth gravitational magnetic field and the matter state. And so this is another milestone. No one knows, we might be ready by Sunday, Saturday, we might be ready in a month, 2 month time, as the structure goes together. The whole structure of this weekend is to show we have become one advanced space program known as Keshe Foundation, as SSI, the Spaceship Institute, and with it comes all the knowledge we gather at KFSSI, all the knowledge we gather at Keshe Foundation, and all the knowledge we have brought in from different parts of the world's knowledge, all of us. When you look at these reactors, it's amazing. It's a combination of, when I look at it, Iranian space program is a combination of our friends in Philippines, part of the work they've done, is a combination of the part of the work which is done in US by Ahmed, part of the work is done by John in Arizona, part of the work is done in Europe by other group of team of Keshe Foundation, is part of the work done by Chinese. We see the work from Africa, and we see work from what we call South America, and we'll see the what we call understanding of the work of the councils, both Earth Council from Australia and from the Universal Council. This is a collective flight system. This is exactly what should have been, and it's exactly what it is. We have become one space agency, as one race, as one mankind, and we are sharing it openly. Some of the things you will see, you might have seen before. Some of the things you see, it will shock you. But this is how it is. This is the fact, the way it is. Therefore, the next step for us is, you see it on Saturday and Sunday, you want to be part of it, the way we done with Magraph system, the way we did with everything else, the health section. Let's start testing, developing, bring your own flavors to it. And as they say, the only car is not Henry Ford's car. Now you have a Mercedes, you bring a Jaguar, somebody else like a bike, and somebody likes a Lotus. Bring whatever it is. Each one of us bring our own flavor into it. But in essence, the what we call the taboo of space has to be done the correct way, which will be done. There's no more Chinese space agency hiding what they are doing. There's no more Americans lying to us if they landed or not. And there is no Russians to keep the lie of the Americans, because then it shows they lied too. You have to understand, when one bluff is, the other one bluff is too, then they can't break the bluff. So whoever has bluffed, now that we become, and now what we see is a matter of months or weeks that the first flights will take place. Very soon, in these kind of teachings on Thursday morning, we start walking around the moon with a video camera live to see if we can find the footstep of Mr. Armstrong. Then we know how much we advance, and we know how much we've been lied to. What it says, a very old Iranian says, what is in the pot will come into the ladle. So we're going to see whatever it's been there, whatever we've been told, all these stories about man landed on the moon or not, the Muslim says for insulting us. The advantage of it will be, when we go to space, we all go together as one race. We are blind to color, race, and religion and creed. And I can, and I would like to congratulate all of you. Saturday will change everything, and a beginning of the change for human race. It's adding another piece of what we call space to our dimension. Not all of us like to go and live in the state, and not all of us like to go and live in China. But we know it's there. If we want, we go and visit. When we open the space, as of now, it's not that all of us will go. Some of us will come Chinese tourists and have a look, maybe for a year, 2 years, leave the shop with the dad to run while I'm going to see if the Mars is different than here, and I'm going to other place. But then I'll come and run the corner shop. And then I tell people a lot of stories. I've seen a man with 20 legs and no eyes, and I've seen one of them is a jelly, but it can go inside it and it eats you and then spits you out, and the rest of it. So life is not going to change on this planet because we have opened the space. But it'll bring a new dimension to us. It brings a new understanding to us. It brings a new structure that will reduce the suffering of mankind. The fallout from the new space technology which is getting developed as part of the Keshe Foundation, and soon we'll hear all the universities around the world will start trying to do it, and the space institutes will start to follow it, is how we change the course of humanity. How many Teflons can we deliver that makes the cooking easy for all of us not to burn our food? How much new structure materials we can deliver that stops the suffering of mankind, be it in the time of disaster, be it in time of whatever be it in the time of joy. Can we make oases in every part of every city? How do we feed our nationals? How do we feed our people? How we protect them from disasters? And if the disaster happens, we have all the facilities to be there, not to wait for months and months. Somebody might turn up to help. What happened in Caribbean is absolutely shame on the human race. What our governments have done. They're spending all the money on the weapons to kill, and when it comes, they can't even get there to help. Isn't it supposed to be army to protect, not to destroy? And why there isn't so much finance goes into killing part of the army than making the armies to help the people to be armed at the time of disaster? What I see as the head of the Keshe Foundation, end of wars. Very simple. The technology cannot be used for destruction, but the technology will end the borders, the barriers. The technology will end what we call nationhood. We all become part of one nation, but we come from different places and different positions. The biggest shock will come to human race by opening the space is that we'll find new neighbors. We'll find new friends, and we have to be ready for it. We went to United States and we found new friends as Red Indians. We found people in South America. Even though they came from us, it was a lost family. Now, by opening the space, we join the family. And then this is the change. With it comes a lot of things. With it comes a lot of new understanding for us. It's not just opening the space. The opening of the space this time brings a lot, and a lot more than man could ever bargain for. New ways of lifestyle, new people, new understanding, new places to be and immigrate to and come back. Understanding that the time beyond the space becomes zero time. We can travel the depth of the universe and come back in no time. We sit nowadays for 10 hours, 20 hours to go from one spot on this planet to another. It'll become a few minutes. The disbursements of what we call human races from the cities will become such a rapid job that buying a car will find a new dimension. You don't need a car to drive and sit in the traffic jam. You take the car to live in Australia and go and work in New York in the morning and come back. These are not more than 5 to 10 years away. And we evolve. The beauty of human race is we become such good evolvers. We never had a computer in 50 years, 40 years, we become such a huge user of it. None of us knew what holidays means because it didn't exist. We build the hotels, we force the nations to go on holidays, and we post our bosses that I need 2 weeks to go in the sun to rest. Our parents never took a rest 7 days a week for centuries. There was no difference between Saturday, Sunday and Monday, till somebody came up and says, don't work 1 day a week, let's be lazy. Now we say, don't work 6 days a week, be lazy, but go and see the space. Because we have the knowledge. This is not a dream anymore. We have all the availabilities. If you look in the teaching on Saturday and you look what will come as a material production and what's been produced in a very small scale, it's a parallel to we don't need to get steel and aluminum from Earth to build a building on Moon or Mars. We use the atmospheric condition, we produce whatever we like. The teaching on Saturday and Sunday is the what we call the shotgun for the start of the race. The first fire that the mankind starts working at the same time together for a space. It is something that makes sure you inform as many people as possible to be there, that they are there, and while the presentation goes on, inform as many people to join in. Because now is a talk, but as we go through the presentations, as you see clinical trials for health, you see the clinical trials for materials, you see space reactors, invite everybody to come and have a look. Because when it's live, they come in. Don't wait till afterwards, tell them, have you seen it? Invite your family to come in. Invite your friends to come in. Come and watch what's going on this channel. And then it'll take over. This is the way, partially, Saturday teaching, the presentation of the blueprint is to shock, is to bring back the new changes. We'll structure it in a way to be as smooth as possible, but as you know, it's Keshe Foundation. You're a bunch of amateurs. What we call professionals have been stopped to work with us because they made us terrorists. Now, a bunch of amateurs change the whole thing. We are what I call revolutionaries of man and not revolutions of government. We change the whole space of human space. Us, where we live, how we eat, how we find energy, how we change things. And I thank all of you. Every one of you, one way or another, sometimes or present or in the past, have given a hand to this development. Some of it has been good and some of it has been bad. But even the bad one has been good for us because it brought a lot of notice where our weaknesses are. There are a lot of changes to come. A lot of changes to come. The first flights will shake governments. The first flights, the way we are doing, will change governments. There will be massive meetings by governments how to come to this position. People can land, people can go to space. They made borders for the countries. They haven't made borders for a space. So if there is a problem for me to go to the United States, nobody owns the moon, nobody owns them. Let them have their pieces. I have the universe. This will change everything. It goes back to one nation passports. It goes back to go back where we did wrong and put it right as fast as we can. This is what the Keshe Foundation is doing in Africa and other places. We are trying to establish the factories that we can put things right. Now we have the knowledge and we have the means to change. It's very interesting how, as a human race, will reflect on 14th and 15th of April 2018. Is 220th teaching of the Keshe Foundation. And in a way, when you go to school, the top mark you get is 20, and we are there. We have matched what all our ancestors for thousands of years and centuries dreamt about. We don't do it bright or anything other way. We show it, we open the discussion, we open the systems. And it's for the rest of us to catch up. It's for the rest of us to develop. And in so many ways, the teaching will not stop. Most probably, if all of us do our work the right way, the teachings will become relentless. The number of people which in the next years will attract and come to the Keshe Foundation work will be relentless. Every one of you has to become a teacher, correct conduct teacher. Not now it's there, I milk it as I can. It's very easy. Those who try to milk from the foundation and walked away with it, they haven't got much milk to drink because the way it came, it went through a sieve. We need huge amount of financial support. We need amazing amount of financial support. Because if we are to launch, be able to launch and gather the structures in every country, we have to be independently operating our own systems. Building sites, building teachings, supporting it, that we don't get dominated by one nation or another. One thing I can see is the end of the domination of United States as a false first nation. Because now we all can go and see how this nation has been suffering, and very few holding the television rights have fooled the rest of the world. At the same time, we'll see the end of our manufacturing. The peace plan is part of the structure we're working, and it'll force itself through. We don't need to do anything. Once any of you reaches any way, building one spaceship that he flies, one material that he goes, just come online, open it up. Very soon, in the next few weeks, we'll have every day 1 hour news. What it means, every day at a certain time, anybody develops anything can come and announce. Most probably the way we'll put it through is that we start between 9 and 10 o'clock Central European time, and then 5 to 6 o'clock Central European time, 2 news broadcasts, which means everybody knows what is getting developed where. We have to be doing this, that we spread the knowledge as rapid as possible, and we bring more and more people. By spreading the number of people who bring knowledge in from different parts of the nation, these hooligans who sit in Belgium, Austria and Germany, they'll be very busy trying to do what they cannot do. And then it's the giving up time. It's now the process to carry on with what we do. We never fight. We flood with love and care and knowledge, and then it just walks away. But I'll give one reminder to those who cause so much mayhem. We will be knocking on your door, inviting you to a space, and leave you somewhere that you'll have a very good time. Prison of a space is bigger than the prison of earth, but it's the prison of the soul of the man, not the physicality of the man. You have to be ashamed of what you've done through your soul, not by us, what you have caused us, what you have caused the suffering. And in that way, as I said, we saw with Alex, it brought a lot of good things. The Keshe Foundation Nigeria is set, and we are going through the process, initial process of the land and the others. And that's all thanks to some stupid telephone calls, as we said before. Now is fruitful. Ghana, Nigeria will become what we call the platform for the space technology of the African continent. We go by continents. We have finished with borders. We don't talk about nations, but in a way, as you live in a country, you say, I'm German, I live in such a state, I live in such a city, in such a district, and such a road with such a house number. Now we add, I live in this part of the world called Iran. The rest is there, but I live on planet Earth. We make nations as part of the planet. So when you go out, your address is planet Earth, Iran, address Tehran, and the rest of it. So we become one. We don't say, when you say Germany, or are you in Munich or in Frankfurt, it's different country, different part, different things. It's all part of one, we're all German. Now we all become human, you're one race. And it's taken me 40 years to plan this out. I could dream about this when I was 18, 19. And now the dream after 40 years has become reality at the age of 59, 60. And it's taken a long time, a long haul. But it's worth it. Every steps of it is worth it. Every condition of it is worth it. What I would like to ask all of you is, do not go beyond what is there that can damage a soul. Stay within the parameters. Elevate another soul. Work in the condition that you can elevate the soul and not to destroy another one. Because in the space, your soul is transparent, and what you damage is yourself. A fool shoots himself in the foot. We have changed the course. Saturday and Sunday is the beginning of it. Come in. It's not a show, it's a path of life. It's the new way. It's the way which we have built, all of us together, over past 10 or 15 years. I can mention many names who have who have helped in this path. Many, many people. Each one has contributed some, and some have taken a lot out, but in a way they have put some in without them knowing. They brought us to understand how supportive of each other we become. It's brought us to understand we do not allow, we do not go and fight, but we let them pass. We pray for them, we give them from our soul, and in time they disappear. Those are who are enemies of their life of themselves. Let them be staying there till they elevate their own souls. We give them, it's theirs to take. I always say, if you kill a man, you're a murderer. It's a crime. But when a man shoots himself, it's not a crime. He's done it to himself. We call it a suicide. But actually, the crime of the man starts from the time he shoots himself, because now he's got a soul which is half done, not at the strength that he can serve for itself, and then it's a nomad in the life of the universe. So we have to let these people to become the nomad of a space themselves by their own karma. As I said, very soon in a coming time, world leaders will walk off their leadership. But what they will do, they become accessible and accessory to make sure the conversion from the present coming time, peace, new technology, they become the facilitators. We will see many heroes and we'll see many zeros. And most of the zeros will come from kingships and kingdoms. And many heroes will come from the enlarged nations which have the financial capability to provide the facilities for the other nations to rise to this point. It's a bright day. It's one of the most beautiful days it will be. As you know, 14th of April is the day of motion. And it's been chosen specifically for one reason. And I'll explain that on Saturday as one of the first things we'll explain on the start of the Blueprint Day, Motions Day. It's a freedom of man from physicality. It's the freedom of man from physicality of this planet. From then on, it's for us. We'll become free souls, and we decide as we progress in this technology that the spaceship become the soul of the man. And then we decide where it shall go. On the 14th, we free the soul of the man from the shackles of this planet as a totality, as one race. And it's for us to understand how we use it, how we be forced to conduct correct. Prisons will be unheard of and will be in the books of history. As I said, we will not imprison physicality of the man. We elevate the soul of the man that he doesn't become prisoner of his physicality, that it leads him to misconduct. These are not dreams. These are, as you will see, how we build the brain for one, to join us back in physicality. We can elevate and reconstruct the soul of the man to receive what he needs, that he does not do misconduct. Man will forget killing. man will forget destruction. The beauty of the space is so much that he has no need to do. We will be judge of ourselves. The day of judgment will be every act we do, not waiting somewhere down the line will be judged. Because we judge our way. We understand what we do, and this is part of the teaching of the new space technology. We shouldn't do things, now that we open the space, out of the fear of what might happen to us. We do it as a joy of, if it happens, I give life to another being. I give the elevation of the soul of another thing, another dimension. The sooner we realize that physical life is not the end, the physical life is the beginning of the beautiful cycle in the universe, then many of us will take different action. Many of us will stop all these hassles of chasing and racing to have something. I have said many times, I have come to change humanity for good, and with it I will do. It will change totally. By the time I live the physical life, my soul has delivered to elevate all the souls of humanity and the others which are on this planet. But don't forget, as I said, there is a secret nobody should know except human race, because the fishes and the dogs and the cats and the birds are not supposed to know that we managed to get to space. It's a very secret organization, and it's a very secret launch of a new dimension. And I invite all these agencies, worldwide agencies, to attend, to be part of it, and be proud, because without partially your work and the scientists of different nations, many of the things which now we can refer back to would not have been there. I wonder which space agency will come and collaborate first with the foundation in an open way, instead of just copying it and seeing not falling behind. I've heard this, I've seen this, and it's very, very nice. Scientists will have a say where the politicians don't exist. As you know, the NASA Space Agency cleared me some 4 or 5 years ago to go to NASA. Lands, what do you call it, Security of America cleared me. I'm not a terrorist. I'll be asset to the nation to be there. But the politicians said no. But that was fantastic, because now is the loss of Americans. They became subordinate to where we will deliver and have delivered this technology. Now we'll see the backfall waters of the NASA. It will become historical situation, place that many of us will refer to as where they used to lie to us, and now we let them lie on their own. In so many ways, there should be no secret, because keeping a secret from now on in space can be life of another man or another being. So from now on, those who pattern and keep secrets, remember one thing: your knowledge can be cost of a life of another being. Would you like to be a murderer? At the moment, the pattern is we keep everything till we get paid, and we make everything to kill everybody that we get paid. At the moment, everything is I take as much as I can and I run with it as much as I can. And it'll be okay. Nobody I have to answer to, but the souls do answer to. The process of life is amazingly easy. We have to learn it, because in the space there are no factories, there are no Chinese cloth manufacturers, there are no Japanese Toshiba televisions, there are no rabbis to tell us about how to shave our head with our wives. There are no priests whose are children as pedophiles, and there are no mullahs to tell you should not know whatever I say is correct and lie you to the teeth that what I could say has to be done. And in so many ways, we all become one thing. We go back to the root of where The truth about the man was told about the man. But now we go back to the origin. Zoroastrians. Talk good, think good, and do good. And this was the message which was given to mankind by the travel of space in the name of Zoroaster, but in time changed by those who abuse the physicality of the man. So we go back to our origin. Think good, because the thinking comes from the soul of the man. Do good, because if you do wrong, you suffer. And the other one, you know, it's a combination of the two. So in so many ways, when we all become man of space, we become good Zoroastrians. Go back to the origin of Iranian blood, where most of the Western world comes from. If we track by United Nations, the way what we see, the depth of the nation is one nation and is for all of us. Do good, think good, act good, and be there that when you think good, your act will be good, because otherwise you'll be annihilated. This was the message of a space to mankind, and we are here to re-emphasize it. Am I Zoroastrian? In soul, yes. In teaching, yes. And in act, without a doubt. Maybe we have to understand where and how our origins come from. Where did the man come from? And where did the man will go? And how did we build this culture? In the new technologies which is getting developed and will be developed by all of you in the process, will tap into the RNA of the memory of the man. And we will see the evolution, how we changed, who we saw, what happened. And from it, we learn that when our souls are traveling, these, what was the animosity of the man has erased from the CD voice part of the life of the man. Because our amino acid will be according to the environment, will manifest ourselves in, but in depth will carry the memories of earth. These are the things which come to man in a time to come. And I was always said, what I say is for thousands of years for man to come to understand. The guy said that one day, how did he know? I am the beginning, I am the end, I am the voice of the creator, as the creation is part of me. This is what we need to understand. Teaching mankind has not been easy. Living with mankind has been the worst thing I ever done. Do I want to live a physical life again? Never again. If it's like mankind, they are very kind, but they are very man and very, very unkind. Lie, cheat, adultery, betrayal, stealing, never seen in the universe. Now we change the course. As is in the writing, thou shalt not steal. And the most things we all of us do, we steal from our soul. And that's where the problem starts. When you steal from your soul, why not steal from the other? Why not extend it to the other planet and other universes? Is there going to be a policing for mankind in a space? Yes. You're going to be policed heavily by understanding of your own soul. The original men who go to space by doing wrong will find out their people who are with them will not be there physically to exist, even though the soul is freed, and in the dimension of the soul is expanded to the other dimensions that they can never integrate to work as a soul. This is a very harsh thing to say, but soon people understand. Initially people do out of the fear of it to be good, but in time become natural process of it to be good, not to do wrong. What we'll see from beginning of this next week is the establishment of one nation, the establishment of one army, which becomes the police force, which becomes the helping hand and not for policing. These will take some time to mature, because as we learn to conduct ourselves outside correct, as we come back, we live by those ethos. It's very much that when you go to Germany and live in Germany, when you come back to Africa, you still carry the behavior of Germans, but you're a German African. So when we go to space, we become a spaceman. We are still a man, but we bring the ethos of the space with us. Don't lie, don't cheat, do everything. There is no need to produce clothing, because in the space, as I said in the teaching yesterday, you want to wear a suit or a shirt for 1,000 years. In the space, it won't last. And unfortunately, in the space, we have no Chinese manufacturers to buy cheap clothes. There are no supermarkets. So we have to learn to live naked. Naked from the physical matter of covering, but in a way understanding how we decide to evolve to lose hair. We evolve to use our soul to cover in what we would not like to be seen. It could be whatever. So the clothes of the man will demolish and will go. They will not exist. And when we come back, who we want to see us the way we are will manifest themselves, or we manifest ourselves to them if they want to see. We cannot force a position. One of the worst thing and the hardest thing for those who are used to abuse, like the king of present time, is the soul of the children will not allow it to happen, and they suffer. Those who have got the habit of raping, it will not happen, because the souls will learn to condition and position. All these things gradually disappear out of the vocabulary of the man. Kingship will disappear, because we are all equal. We'll accept people to look after our affairs, and we call them leaders of districts or whatever, because they have time, they enjoy serving. And then we spend our time serving the others. There'll be some of us who'll abuse the system, and we call them, they become the couch potatoes. But you know, you get fed up after couching for a while, maybe 10 years, 20 years, and say, now time is to move. The process of the education will change. Showing the history of the man through wars has to be abolished. It should be a shame to show one murder. Should be stopped, and shame to show any killing. The present, what I call movie arena of the American mentality, and the games will change, because nobody would like to watch. Why should I watch this when I can watch something else? They have forced injustice on man through the new media, lying to man in the media, and all will disappear, because we see the soul of the newsreader. He reads the news wrong, we know what is going on, so it's better not to do. Does not matter, even he's given a piece of paper to read. There is a lot of changes. On Saturday, we will see. It's the beginning. We will do it as one nation, and please keep it a secret. Do not tell no one, that we might see something very strange. But don't forget, all the newspapers should be known, and all the ambassadors and all the presidents, that this Saturday and Sunday, a lot of things has been shown that the governments consider top secret. How to reverse cancer, how to get and change the damages of injections, how to send Monsanto to burial ground of the history of man, where no grain can be changed to control the man, where we show how you change the grain to serve the man. In process of whole teaching is to change humanity, not by shocking it, but state showing scientifically how it's done. On Saturday and Sunday, I teach governments how to get rid of all the effects of genetically modified seeds. This is important for us. That's my part of participation on Saturday, Sunday. In so many ways, we stopped thousands of farmers in US to kill them, in India to kill themselves, with the joy of other farmers in America to rejoice. We killed one more. I wonder how much the American farmers who developed this, what we call new innovation of controlling the seed have become those who shoot the bullet and kill themselves with their own hand, but themselves is the soul of another man, another part of the world. The scientists have to understand they are responsible for their acts. So when it's not there, you cannot blame because your soul accepts to do it. All the scientists know what they are doing. They should be aware of what they are doing and what they are participating in. There is no place to hide. I work for Monsanto. We are developing this, but I'm part of the killing machine. I kill 10,000 Indians every year, committing suicide, leaving God knows how many children without the father, and I'm very happy. I've got a 4-bedroom villa with a swimming pool outside, and the pool is covered with blood. Blood of people from India. We have to bring the reality to our scientists to understand they are responsible for their acts. In any case, as the head of the Keshe Foundation and the team of the Keshe Foundation behind me, we invite you to celebration of the freedom of man. The Keshe Foundation team, which is set up, amazingly, is done. I'm the only man in the hierarchy of the Keshe Foundation. Unfortunately, maybe that was the way I wanted it. It's headed by Ella. She's working heavily on the background to make sure everything the Keshe Foundation presents to the best of its ability to bring mankind to oneness. We have Jamila from Morocco, President of France, making sure that every man on this planet receives what he needs. By being heading the Keshe Foundation Global Incorporation in the United States into one of the biggest organizations for mankind to work only towards peace and being in equality. We have Ruti as the head of the Chinese Keshe Foundation, capable one where we'll bring the East and the West together. She understands both as being living on both sides of this land. In one way, we have merged the Keshe Foundation China as part of one family into total management of the Keshe Foundation. Then we have what we call, at this moment in time, representative of the Universal Council and the Earth Council, which they will talk with us on Thursday, on Saturday and Sunday. Lisa from Australia, member of the Earth Council, the only lady at the moment in the council, and most probably we hear from another woman, which is one of the most influential women in the Keshe Foundation at the present time, Caroline. We change the life through the mothers, because they are the ones who bring up the children of the future, and mankind is a very disobedient mother of the children will not allow to live. So it's in the hand of the mothers to bring this bunch of disobedient 7 billion of us with love and care in the correct path. And I think we are in a safe hand. I hope I have not made a mistake. If it is, I'm planet Zeus. I don't know what the mankind is. Women are different creatures. They come from Venus. Are there any questions that we can answer before we start the teaching?
Good morning, Mr. Keshe.
Another mother, yes, but from Iran.
Good morning. How are you, Mr. Keshe? I have a question.
I'm still alive. Happy New Year to you.
Happy
You had a beautiful time in Iran. I've seen everywhere you've been.
Okay.
I wish I was with you. You should have told me a place in your suitcase. And you forgot the cholo kebab. I saw it.
Yes, I got a picture of that for you. So, you know, it was beautiful there. I was so disappointed coming back to US because the weather it was so beautiful, unbelievable. I was like homesick for a couple of days. Anyway, Mr. Keshe, I have a question. When we talk about flying to space right now, start doing it, are we going to be able to see the universal community? Because I thought we're going as a one planet, one nation all together. Now we want to go individually and just open the space for now. And I mean,
You see, you've broken the condition for the first sentence. When one of us goes, we all go. We are connected to the soul with each other. We can't put 7 billion herd. I mean, huh? We haven't built the Noah's ship. Everybody in, come on, we're going together or we don't go.
So are we peaceful?
Are you?
I am, but my question is,
So why do you ask the question?
so it means
We become peaceful. We have become peaceful. Why not? Why do we question? Then we have to think about it.
And what is it that we should keep it secret, not for the cats and dogs know we're going?
We are going to space. Nobody knows. We build a machine. Nobody knows. We have machine which feeds you without anything. We have a machine which makes zinc and gold and copper and food and whatever. And we have a machine which makes you to walk away from cancer. We can feed you with anything. And then we have an energy system which doesn't work, but everybody else works. Thank you very much. What else you want? Clothing? I'll open a factory for you on planet Zeus with a lot of Chinese friends and they're running it for you. I wonder if we can open a corner market, corner shops everywhere. Where on earth we're going to sell things? We have everything. We give you the freedom. You know something very interesting? I wonder when man takes to space, when and how we start losing the feeling to be proud to be a man, or do we put our life or soul into the process that I want everything to be covered, I'm not seen. I want to see in reality how man or a woman will make a chador out of his thoughts, because the thing is rotten 100 years ago, he cannot buy a chador in planet Zeus. So how will he make his veil not to be seen? Because we have the strength to do it. I wonder how the nuns will make these things. You remember, it used to be a flying nun when we were young, the movie? And where we'll get all these things to cover ourselves to deceive, now we cannot. And would we change our clothes? And what we call nudity would not exist, because we have learned how to create, change our color of skin, make nose longer if you are Jewish, and have a tail if you are something else. And if you are a Rashti, you have a flat head. How did we change that? So it comes to one thing. How do we evolve now that there is no Chinese cheap manufacturing in the space? Then we are truly naked, huh? And then it will be the same with our soul. When the first man goes into space, all of us go into space. This arrogance of the first American on the moon, we don't know if he landed yet. There's a lot of question marks. I wonder what the Russians didn't join him. It was a very big lie. We all joined in. Now we can't say we all lied, because it was good to see superpower. I was sitting in the car when I arrived in Tehran the second time with the head of Iranian Space University, a good friend. And from what we call Khomeini Airport to the hotel where I was supposed to stay, we had a very good chat, very quick chat of what has been achieved by the Iranian scientists. And he said, Mehran, do you know, we put a monkey and then we put a rat in and this and that. And I was wondering, what can I tell him what I'm doing? And he was so joyful. He's one of the most beautiful Iranian space scientists, in a way, as the head of the Iranian Space University. And it was funny driving late at night in Tehran to this north of Tehran to stay in a hotel, that how two scientists who are devoted to space compares his knowledge, and it says, oh, we can done this and we done that. It was just like two little children sitting in the back of a car being naughty. And I was, for 1 second, I thought, what does the driver guy think? And what does the security man think sitting in the front? We don't think about what they think, because now they are part of us to think with us. And that's the beauty of it. We have to be aware of that we are here to serve all nations, we are here to serve humanity. And in fact, we are one nation. We don't need to be security vet checked what the guy is going to take out and to be taking a secret from us. It's very, very strange. You should be in my place to understand what I'm talking about, but I hope I can convey the feeling. The governments ask me to join them or invite us to join them to develop their space technology. And they have such a backward technology compared to what we have. And the biggest problem is if the guy will take any of our secrets to leak to the other side, the Americans or the Russians or the Chinese. It's very interesting, huh? How a man who's got nothing is protecting nothing and is so backwards. And then the strangest thing is I go to places, I see people, and I see them using my name, using my technology, what I brought for humanity, and they want me to pay for my own technology. Have you seen that? We are stealing it from you, but you pay for us, you pay to us. We took it from you, we done it ourselves, but you pay for it to get what you taught us and what you built for us. And I sometimes laugh. I said, can I just pay them? I didn't charge them for the knowledge. I didn't charge them for teaching them. I didn't charge for spending my life and all the harassment, but they make a glass of water of gas, you have to pay for it. Now, the nations who are worried about their secrets which worth nothing, and the man who has nothing now sells to the man who gave it to him. So we see there's a lot for man to evolve yet to be man of space. It won't happen overnight. There's a lot of understanding. Would you like to be the first one, Azar?
I'd love to.
How would you behave when you see a man from planet Zeus? You run?
No, I will fight.
Or how do you know it's a man?
It doesn't matter.
Don't tell me I've seen one before. You saw me, but it doesn't mean I come from planet Zeus.
Yes, I think it would be wonderful. I mean, I've seen a lot of. I've seen how the future is gonna look like. I've seen the cities. I've seen the all of it. I mean, I had visions, and it's beautiful. But let's see.
It'll be very nice as we park our cars in the car parks. Now we car our parks next to the window on 20th floor or 50th floor. Can you see a car park outside every building? Because now you hover, you can park yourself dead on next door. Instead of going all the way downstairs getting the lift, you just open one of the windows and you walk in. You remember the Wumi says, Wilma, I'm home. These are the changes which will come.
Actually, there's not going to be anything on the planet Earth on itself. Everything is going to be above. The below is going to be.
We don't know. Inside is much more joyful. You've never been there. There is no storm. There is no rain. Earthquake doesn't exist inside the liquid. You get some bubbles, you know, inside the magma. Why do you want to be up here, get rain and sun and all the earthquakes and everything else with it? You see, the world leaders only live on the surface of the planet. They can't dig underneath. This belongs to us. This is part of China or Russia or whatever. So the world leaders only have the crust. They only rule the fake part. So if you all decide to go in the magma and go below, it's not their land anymore, is it? It's very strange life man has made for himself on this planet, isn't it? Any other question?
Thank you, Mr. Keshe.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. And I'll remind the attendees that you can put your hand up if you would like to speak. Checking.
What are your fears of going to space?
Morning.
Yes. Good morning, Madame De Rosa Carolina Maria Noela. I don't talk about the rest of it, Tawakkali, Keshe, and the rest of it.
What
I
did we
have a
do wrong
whole
to
She
page.
needs a minibus to carry her name. Forget about the rest of it. I love you so much. I love you so much. Carry on.
I love you too. Mr. Tavakoli, Mehran, Kesh, you also have a whole bunch of them, don't worry. But not
Everything
so
has a
many as
name.
me.
Mehran, Mehran means possessor of love. Tawakkul is the
Yes.
one who prays to God.
Yeah.
And cash is the money in the bank.
So I have three of them, two of them, and I have the rose, which is the flower, which is the beauty, and smells good as well.
We don't know yet. Carry on. What's your
And
question?
Maria has also has good history, and
Yeah.
the rest I don't know.
Yeah, one is the Father Christmas. Come on, tell me what's your question.
Yes, after our teaching yesterday, we send you a request from all the knowledge seekers to please to go back to the origin of man. You dropped a small piece last week, and we picked it up, and I picked it up, but we can't carry on or any further because it doesn't add up with our history books. So you mentioned something about Syria, Korea, and Iran. Could you please enlighten us about that any further? Because you mentioned that these are the roots.
Korea, where we call North Korea, more or less, historically, Iran historically, and Syria historically, have been the center of the original seeds of culture. Syria is the seeds of culture of the Islamic world, the Arab nation. If you came from Damascus, you were the most talented man. If you came from Iran, you were the most romantic creature, knowledge and science. If you came from Korea, it was to know the art of life. And these were the centers of cultures. They were the centers of civilization in the old time. And they didn't build them, they became centers. And these cultures, as they grew, they gathered wealth. And the wealth became part of the national wealth, not part of the kingdom wealth. There is a very big difference between the national wealth and the kingdom wealth. In Iran, we have a national Bank Milli Iran, means the bank which belongs to the millat, which is the nation. We carry golds from olden times. The Iranian central bank reserve goes back to the time of Dariush and Kurosh and beyond. The Korean are the same, and the Syrian are the same. The arts and the history and the culture and the books which are kept in these nations goes back, if put together, comes back to the origin of where what we call civilization started. And now we see all the mayhem which goes with Iran, Korea, and Syria is to get access to this gold, and it's set up by the kingdom of what they call it, United Kingdom. The people who are a bunch of these groups want to get to these goals. To gold to them, it matters a lot. Tomorrow we'll show how you can make as much as gold. We assess, I was working last night with some data. Every Keshe Foundation supporter, if they do their if they do their jobs right, you should be able to extract between 1 to 5 kilo of gold a day. We will sell the systems to you very, very soon. You will have the systems, and I'm sure the Chinese friend of ours will come up with the technology and selling it. So this will stop invasion of the gold mines of the nations. The biggest problem for the world will be that if every one of us as present nations start making gold, Chinese will be the richest and then the India. But now it comes to the point, where is the value for the money? Where is the value and the backing of the gold? Or was President Reagan so advanced that he could see that the Keshe Foundation will come and produce gold? So he took the backing of dollar being gold. Then we come to this, what is the value? How do we value our nations? How do we value our assets? The answer is very simple. We become one nation. We all have one value and we have one assets. Whatever we own has to be fairly understood and done that no one suffers. That's all the purpose of the foundation work, to be the feeding and the rest of it. In a way, when the Iranian culture was established, when the Korean culture was established, when the what we call Syrian culture were established, we have to go back to the time when they were established, not now, where everything belonged to the central government, which belonged to the people. We have the kings, we had the monarchies, we have the rulers, but everything was kept for a nation. These are the last three free nations left in the world. We don't have any more. Because everything else now has become government owned and owned by kingships, is not owned by people. All the wars you see done in the past time, if you ask yourself, where is the gold from the Second World War? Where did it disappear to? Back into the royal families of Europe. If you ask where is the gold from Libya disappeared to? Back into the central bank of the United Kingdom for the monarchy, not the people. If the share of the gold taken from what we call Libya, shared amongst the people as a national asset, England pounds should be much, much higher than what it is now. It should be about $2.50 a dollar. But it doesn't belong to the nation, it belongs to the Queen. One of the things we will see, the world leaders in next few weeks and months will start kicking. People will go into the palaces asking for what it is. You're no higher than me. We don't see it as a revolution. We see it as the monarchies opening the door themselves to calling the end of abuse themselves. Because this way, they hope one day they'll come back and they still rule and they rule the abuse. We will see the end of monarchies, but not by upheaval, but in a way, no value for kingship. What will happen is places like Iran, Korea, and Syria, which have been on the hammer suddenly in past few years, by not understanding what was the reality, will come to an end. There was a very interesting article sent to me a few days ago. I said last sentences I said last week was that we invite the Prime Minister of Israel to join the peace and be part of the Keshe Foundation. And this man is so feeble that he says very simply, now we get America to invade Iran, Syria, and Korea. And it's exactly what it means. I am one of those, I'm a servant to those who've been running the invasions. But there is one fact, there is a new boy on the block. And that boy will not allow you to move, not 1 inch, sir. Mr. Netanyahu, your term is over. Because we've seen the wisdom of President Xi of China, and we've seen how diplomatically, with a lot of care and tenderness, he has turned North Korea to be part of protection zone and back to the rank of the other nations. We'll see Korea will open up in a short time after the May meeting with President Trump. And then one of the first things they're going to show us how poor and poverty and how bad this nation has been to live in. But I tell them very simple, get a flight, go to Alabama, and you see people of North Korea live a fantastic life compared to the people in the United States. You got to understand how propaganda has worked. And we got to understand we are now entering a peaceful phase. When we do these kind of things across the universe, we bring the souls which serve us the best. And the soul of President Xi is one of them. We have President Putin with us. We don't work through their physicality. We work through their soul, and the physicality delivers. This is the wish of us. In so many ways, a lot of us don't understand, because to change the man, you have to do it from the top and working on the bottom. And we'll see the changes. Iran will not be touched. Russia, China, Iran, Syria, will see the time of peace will come. It's sad to see what has happened there, but the worst thing is, where do these people who created this mayhem are going to hide? I have a suggestion. Those world leaders who caused all these problems because they wanted to be higher than another leader, let's put all the leaders of the world who created so much mayhem in one spaceship and give them the key to get themselves out into space and leave the first frontiers of man. Because you know, as the first frontiers, they make a lot of mistakes, and it'll be nice to see them making mistakes, because then you understand the mistakes they made on the planet has to be balanced with what they don't understand. They should have spent more time in Keshe Foundation education part than killing the others to know how they can feed themselves. What is interesting for us is the changes which will come. How it is after the next week and the weeks on, we start teaching a universal language. We start teaching the interaction with the universal community. In a coming time, you will hear the voice of the universal community in these teachings. This is something which will bring for you, and progressively we will see in totality how we have changed the condition. I do apologize, I cough a lot. I've been on a very stressful week because of one of our Keshe Foundation, what I call knowledge seekers, which I have so much love and care for, and I can't see him going to so much trouble. He will find out, he'll survive. In so many ways, we have to understand that the life on this planet has changed, and it will change. Iran becomes the land of music and love and poetry as it's been for centuries. Syria will become the land of the knowledge for humanity, and Korea will become the land of art. Ancient art which came from Korea was what we call the cradle of many civilizations come through Korea. Japanese come from this line of work, and the same with the rest of the what we call Southeast Asia. Koreans have a huge influence, and whatever has happened to them in the past 50 years, that they survived the onslaught of pressures from America and the rest, shows the strength of the culture. The same with Iran, the same with Syria, but this time they bombed Syria to destruction. But it's okay. We build it. We have built cities from earthquakes. Man-made earthquakes are nothing. We'll just don't even remember it. We've seen the bombing of Iraq, the center of cultures. Wherever has been culture, these people have no culture, want to destroy that. It shows anarchy, rape, child abuse is the way to rule. If you look, the people who are delivering these destructions of nations, they are nothing but a bunch of pedophiles. We see them, how they operate and how they do. So they want to teach us anarchy and what you call murder and abuse will be the key of the future, and the culture doesn't exist. Why do they destroy such a beautiful land as Iraq? Because there should be no history except the history of United Kingdom and the white man in Europe. But unfortunately, I have a bad news for you. Europe will be receiving such a balanced position that man will not touch it, but the soul of the man will touch it. I can envisage burning of all the palaces across this planet by the kings and the queens themselves, that nobody will do the misconduct of what them and their forefathers have done. If it's done by the people, it will be revolution. If it's done by themselves, as what I said, committing suicide or killing one, it will be done that they understand equality has arrived. We see many monarchies will move away by the next generations to come because they understand they have nothing to claim. I was in a lift the other day, and the guy came and says, I'm from this country. I said, I'm from this country. And as he went through the door of the lift, I said, you change your nation. The minute we cross a line, we become foreigners to each other. And he laughed. He said, I wish mankind one day understand this. We have to understand it's us who has to understand to protect this center of cultures. Not to be fooled by those who want to destroy that only left is their culture. This is the plan. Destroy all the ancient cultures that we become the only culture. British government and what we call a lot of European under the banner of Rothschilds and the rest have one target: to destroy the civilization that only European civilization becomes one. This is one of the talents, bloodlines of Jewish behavior. You remember what he did? And how he come to the palace to become a king, and then when he became a king, he killed everything around it that he'll be the only one. So it's a very clear pattern. And as we said, that bloodline is finished. It's a shame to humanity, and in a way, we have wiped it out of the face of the human race. It'll be a name which will never be mentioned, but these people are from the end cycle of that cycle, and we'll see it to be ending. Somebody's microphone is open, please.
Mr. Keshe?
Yes.
This is Soraya speaking from Switzerland. I have a question regarding the Syria.
Yes.
Topic.
Are you Syrian?
Yes, I am. And that's why I'm really in sorrow what's even the last days, what's going on. And currently it looks like they will invade Syria. Is there anything what we can do to stop this invasion with the Keshe technology?
You see, there is a two-part to it, and one part of it is we have to learn something from this process. And you're a Syrian, and it's very not the correct thing to say, but it's what is part of the history of the nation of Syria in the past 30, 40 years. And it has created many enemies for me in talking the truth, is that first of all, the poisoning I've seen talking about the chemical thing, we saw the same thing in case of Iraq. The German who said which doesn't exist was killed in the park in London, which was proven to be correct. This chemical, whatever they call it, is done by those who want to initiate it. You have to understand the new art of warfare. The new art of warfare is I hit you, and then if you hit back, it's your problem, you're a criminal.
Yes.
My belief as a scientist is this, what they are trying to accuse the nation of chemical attack has been planted not by the nation. It's not done. There is no way a nation will do this to themselves. There are those in the system who are paid to do things to show it. And the strange thing is, one of the most strange thing is, we see the repetition of the same thing we saw in Iraq 10, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, when they accused Saddam and it came out to be a whole bunch of lies. Didn't exist, but we don't talk about it, we've done it, and now we got it. The target is central bank. How it can stop? In so many ways, there's a balance book for the Syrians as a nation in the history of mankind. It needs to be settled, to be corrected. But on the other hand, where and what are we going to do the next with Iran? North Korea is saved by the Chinese government. What are we going to do with Iran? Which is the minute they get Syria done, they're on the line to Tehran. And we see the pattern is there because now they started the attack on Putin and his team, that there is no protection. We have two choices. Let me explain to you. We have two choices. What we can do with the Keshe Foundation the development of space technology as fast as rapidly as possible. It will deliver 2 or 3 things very rapidly to mankind and to these people in the governments. And that is, we deliver a technology to protect the city. There is a technology within the Keshe Foundation. You have to deliver it. It's your job to deliver. I want to show you something. A lot of you looked at it and never understood. Rick, can you go back and what we were talking just before the start? The music, without the music of Tom Selleck's video, can you put it on? Can you hear me?
Okay, yes, Mr. Keshe, I'll have to find
the
that.
first 2 minutes of it. Can you find it and put it on? I tell you what is happening in the consistency with the knowledge of the Keshe Foundation. Because you look at it a different way and we look at it a different way. We look at it as a scientific achievement and the way Thomas speaks about it, I wonder if it's plasma. But I'm not talking about the plasma. This video clarifies a lot of things about the technology. We will talk about it more on Saturday or Sunday teaching. There is a very big important point for people of Syria, and the same with Iran. We will deliver technologies to protect the cities through teaching of Saturday and Sunday. Please ask the Syrians and the Iranians, as many of them as possible, to watch and follow what we teach. I'll show you what it is once the video goes on, that you will understand. If Rick can put it up, because there are 2 versions of this recording. There is one with the music and one without the music. Okay, can you go forward? Just go right into the middle of, we all have seen this video. Go right into the middle of the video. Can you advance it? Okay, just go a little bit back or the front that we can see more of. Okay, stop it there. Just a few pieces. If you can show, let it run for a few seconds, please.
Tact.
This is the land. Can you put the noise down if it's possible? If you see the green, you don't see any trees broken, you don't see any of the flowers or shrubs being broken. Even the dry sticks are still hanging dry. Okay? Now, go back further on where we see the land which is devastated, please. Go forward, go forward, go forward, go forward. Where he travels on the side and he shows the devastation, the trees being stripped.
And Mr. Keshe?
Just wait, please.
Okay.
Just go forward. Just go forward, please, Rick. No, go where he shows the devastation.
Flint's doing it right now, and
yeah, sorry. Okay, forward.
I want to show and then we come back to these pictures.
Is this?
Perhaps it was back at the beginning, Flint.
Maybe at the beginning you've gone too
where
far.
Yeah,
go backward a little
bit before this.
Back. Go a little bit back.
Keep going. Mean like right in here?
I want to see the stripped trees.
All the trees that are stripped and the devastation of the island. That's what he's looking for.
Yeah, that's right here.
Where? We don't see it.
No, that doesn't show anything. Maybe it's a different video or something. Something's not adding up here. Let me have a look here.
No, it's frozen.
Maybe maybe it's skipping over or something.
Yeah, he's coming back.
Okay, let me play it then. Okay. Oh, there he is. You have it there now.
Yeah, okay. Just let it play this part. Go forward. Yeah, let it play this part. This, we haven't got this. Yeah, you see the trees now? This, stop there and have a look. If you see, there is huge amount of debris. Trees, branches, broken. These are proper trees. There used to be a jungle, huh? And now look in this garden. That's okay. Go into the garden. You don't see anything landed off them in this place. We don't see any of the trees and shrubs broken, damaged. Notice? You see the flowers? If such a huge amount of material has flown out of all these millions of trees and none of them landed on this land, in this garden, even the ones close by, look, where are these trees? Where are these leaves? This place should be full of them. With a garden which is there trapping, this shows the potential and the power of the shielding of this technology. Where all this debris has gone to? Why they are not on this land? Why nothing is broken here? Why there is no broken flowers here? We're talking 200 miles an hour wind, 200 kilometers an hour wind. Not a broken branch. The cities can be protected with a new technology. I showed this to CIA man in my house in the Sansano in Italy, and he was shocked.
But Mr. Keshe, would
Wash
this
your
also
cities.
protect bullets and bombs?
There is a system in the structure, if understood, can do so. There is a direction rotating field systems that protect cities from these things. This is what we are working on for disaster zones, that it can be fully be protected by dropping certain systems that it can protect. You see, nothing is broken here. Nothing is broken, nothing is damaged, the building is damaged. All these debris flying, the roof is still on the house. Where did it go?
Yeah, it's unbelievable and beautiful.
It is part of the defense technology. This is what we'll build in the space, that we have the zones which have the atmosphere and condition of the earth for us to live. This is plasma houses, what you call greenhouses. Now you create plasma houses. Look, the roof is intact. Nobody's repairing. The lady is sitting outside sewing. Nobody noticed this, but you have to ask your question. How come? You ask this question, how come everything is damaged? Even the dry branches which should fall off are still hanging the same way. So there is a way to protect the cities, and it's the responsibility of Syrians to do it for themselves. There is nowhere too late. We don't get involved in defending. We get involved in changing conditions. If you make it dynamic on the boundaries, you can stop even the rockets. It's been done. One of the reasons Israel is frightened of Iran is Iran can deliver such a punch that the Air Force of Israel will never take off the ground. And it is possible that they might do so. There won't be a state of Israel. They wipe the nation flat if they want to. It has puzzled me how much Iran is holding back out of the respect for humanity.
Mr. Keshe, I was reading one of the head of the army of Israelis interview, and he said we're going to go assassinate the Assad because he's the tail of the snake. And after we're done with him, we're going to go to the head of the snake, which is sitting in Tehran. And actually I was laughing because they don't know that a snake no longer is like the snake they used to deal with, because the snake is much wiser now.
No. You see, a thief calls somebody else a thief to cover himself. They are the snake.
Exactly.
The problem does not sit with Syria, with Iran, with Russia, with China, with anybody else. The problem sits with United Kingdom. The problem sits there, not nobody else. These are just lipstick services. But we don't get involved in politics. We have the technology to deliver, and we deliver. The Syrians can protect themselves. Very easy. Teach them to deliver, to make from the rebel dust, whatever it is, the wires of the houses. Just create dynamic reactors, it will work. The beauty of it is this, whatever you call electronic system will collapse. You don't need to rocket them. How did we capture the American plane? You disable them.
So
It
you
goes
mean
back to what I said. Let me tell you, go back in my teachings before. I said I make metal birds out of the aircrafts on the runways of the nations. Maybe it's time to deliver. If Iran touched, I will do. And make sure there is no state left to damage another state. I have the knowledge, I have the technology, and I have the will, and I can deliver that. But unfortunately, there is a big problem. The problem is we do not understand the potential of this technology. I can make sure not a single aircraft takes out of anywhere across Middle East. Forget about Israel. The technology is with us. The Syrians have it, the Iranians have it, the Israelis have it, and the rest have it. It's the responsibility of those who live in Israel to protect the humanity and place these systems across Israel, that it changes the nation to the peaceful nation. This is our problem. We leave it to the others. Now, we don't fight. We just deliver technologies which does not allow electronic system to work. It's very, very simple. If you look at these pictures, it creates a shielding. All these things, I said in one of my teachings very recently, I wish I was outside this dome. Can you put the picture back on, please? And could see how the leaves, the branches, and the trees were bouncing off the field. They had to come through. If they came through, they would have hit the house. So if you would have stood outside, you would have seen everything bouncing off. It's like a bouncing castle. There is nothing there, and I don't think they spent 3 weeks taking branches and trees off the trees which are not broken. If one of these trees, we've seen how much is stripped, all these branches should have been broken, okay, green, but the rest would have gone through it. Where is it? Nowhere. The shielding is built. This goes below the ground. This makes a condition for what you call a space development, where you actually cover the earth and above. And you don't need to have much. You just need one core. One core to work properly, it'll cover it. The city of Damascus can be protected very easily. Not by chemical weapons. If the Syrian government decides to spray the whole country with water with the guns, it can be done. We're doing it. Thousands of tons can be done. My services is the freedom of the nation to be freed from being murdered. If the Syrian government asks us to participate to change, we will change. And we shower Israel with the zinc water and what we know to change the leader's position.
but do we have the time?
Well,
Because it's urgent. It's so
we have plenty of time. We have plenty. It's for you as Syrians to inform your people inside this is the way to do it.
Yeah.
And it'll be done. It'll be done. If Israel ever touches Iran, I retaliate directly with the technology that no fly will take out of Israel. We don't touch no man, nobody. We just make the tools of war obsolete. And the Israelis know we have the knowledge we deliver.
Okay.
That's what I said. Submission to peace through friendship is the only way is left. And President Xi has protected Korea. As an Iranian, it's my responsibility to protect the Iranian nation, not the government. If there is anything to deal with the nations, with the government, not the nation, I make sure when Israel cannot fly a single bomb, single nuclear warhead, single submarine, they know we deliver. And God help them. I don't think the Palestinians will forgive them.
Yeah.
It's time to step down. It's time to step down. It's time to talk peace. Because Iran is one step too far to touch. We are men of peace. As where I come from, where I sit, is my responsibility to protect not only the nation, but humanity from these ravages of the smallest nation on this planet. Not a single plane will fly out of any airport across Israel. The electronic system of all the tanks will be obsolete. I show how to be done publicly that you can do, if need be. So let's talk peace. Deterrent is better than acting. We need to push for peace through knowledge of science, knowing that with the scientists which are in Israel, the science of Iran, we can develop the most beautiful space technologies ever existed. Why are we using to kill each other?
Okay, I will try something. Maybe I can reactivate
Everything
and
is the responsibility of this, as the responsibility of the Arabic-speaking language of the Universal Council to take action. That's why they are there for. Teaching Arabic direct, take time, make channels that people can do. Even the ones who have been chemically damaged can be washed out in no time. Enough is enough. It's time for peace.
Yes, definitely. Thank you so much for giving hope, Mr. Keshe.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Okay.
Someone somewhere has to stand up for peace, and if we deliver the technology, we should stand up peace. I stand shoulder to shoulder President Xi of China. We've seen how with what we call correct conduct has pushed Korea out of the harmway. And I stand next to my nation. We protect Iran if the time comes. But God forbid there will be no nation left who attacks Iran. The warning goes directly into the Buckingham Palace of United Kingdom and to Tel Aviv. Put arms down, let's become men of peace. I will not harm no one, but there will be no tools to fight. Let's see, by numbers, we go back to the old time, hand to hand, knife to knife, and see how many can go. That will not happen, because we won't even allow that to happen. That's the job of those who live across what we call the other side of the rivers. These things are over for mankind. The time has come to talk peace, and I have the knowledge, I have the technology, and it is enough that no single flight will take out of anywhere and the head of a snake will die in his own nest. I invited Netanyahu to peace twice. Now, this is the last time. We don't harm you, we don't touch you. I have cousins, first cousins and uncles and aunts in Tel Aviv. I will not touch my family. But I make sure the family cannot harm. You will see how to make gold next week, and then start making gold next week and see what they're fighting for. There is a way. It's the responsibility of Universal Council language and the responsibility of the Arab, or we call African Earth Council, to see these through very rapidly. delivery of the technologies to be able to protect the cities. This is like a hurricane hitting the nation, but this one man-made hurricane, where technology is there to deliver, and both members of the councils have enough in their hand to do so. We are watching for a long time this situation, and it's time to intervene. The peaceful way, the way that no arms can be used to kill, and then we'll see. We have to become a peaceful nation, and in that process we have to learn, we have to respect and coexist. The Islamic religion, the tradition has to be kept. The Jewish tradition and religion has to be kept the way it is. The same with Buddhism, same with Christianity. We have to learn, we respect our own path of work and belief, and respect others. And at the moment it's become a mayhem, and those who were selling arms have been benefited by it. As I said, enough is enough. We take action. And the action is to total disarmament of advanced electronic system. That's all it is. We don't incite uprising, we don't incite revolution, we don't incite attacks, no. We incite further development of the technology which makes the old system obsolete, and it's the right of every man to have it. We are peaceful race as a human race. 7 billion of us. We live in 20, 30, 40 million of us in one city. We don't kill each other, we don't harm each other. We open a shop to serve somebody, we open a shop to clothe someone. What's the difference when it comes with the cross of a line, which is made for people who have no dignity and integrity, just for their own pocket? This will stop. This is a warning to the government of Israel. Think about crossing Iran, no problem. Try to see if you have something to cross with. That's another problem. I suggest something to the Israeli Prime Minister. Let's start investing on camels, you'll get very far. Peace has to be part of our structure. The way it's beautiful when you see President Xi of China, how he has positioned China and moved Korea out of harm's way. We do the same. But as a head of a nation, as a head of one organization, we all are responsible to make sure these things will stop. There's a sequence of systems can be developed that will destroy any military electronic system. The way the American drone was captured will release the technology immediately. Those who live in Palestine and Israel, just drop these across the near any Israeli airport. We thank you for it, the peace will come. The electronic is not jamming, the plasma condition will not allow any system to connect. All the circuitry with carbon in it will connect to the copper. They become of the same. You do it with your ganses and your plasmas. Very simple. We'd like to see how many flies will take over. A lot of pilots, but no engine to go anywhere.
This is a lot
All
of
the
hope.
tanks. It's
You're
not a
giving.
hope, it's what you have to deliver. The combination of the system electronically is very simple. It can be used. The Keshe Foundation Arabic speaking people have to start working on it very rapidly. Very rapidly. Just the only restriction comes that our own nations should be able to use their own technology to be able to carry. Airlines should be able to fly. All the immunity services should be able to operate. Everything should be correct. Naval forces should be able to do their work as they do. Armies have to be there what they do, but trying to damage has a reason, and then that reason can be ratified. We have the technology. Technology sits with all of you. Very, very simple. It costs less than a few dollars to paralyze the most advanced satellites. What do you call it? The spy planes. You need to understand the use of gases. You need to understand the use of gases that not only changes the combination in the structure of electronic, but changes the combination in the soul of the man as a soldier. Soldiers will not fly.
Do you mean drones, Mr. Keshe?
Anything. Anything. If you manage to put enough of these units across the roofs of the Damascus and across the borders of the Syria, no flight will be able to take across. I'll show you how to do it.
That's a very good
That's
idea.
all you need to do. That is the only thing to do. Go on the Arabic States and show it. Show this video of the Tom Salas and show how it works. Explain the way I explained it. And then ask the Palestinian in Israel to deliver these beautiful flowers of gases across the airfields of the Israeli airport. The combination is very specific. And when you transmute the carbon to a diamond, there is no line of communication. You just need to stop one chip in the aircraft not to work, not all of it, huh?
Actually, the same like happened with Donald Cook, the ship Donald Cook last year, 2 years ago, right?
Exactly, exactly. We are not telling you something which is not doable.
Yeah,
it's enough hardship for the Syrians. Us Iranians have paid enough over 30 years for what is planned by the others and executed by the others. And the same thing was planned for other nations which has been stopped. And it's one of the requests is for China to protect Iran. And at the same time, the same as has happened with Korea. Enough is enough. But as we have the knowledge, we don't need to fight. Fighting is over. But stopping the electronic system to work is very simple. We have it, we can deliver it. And it'll be given to the nation of Iran to do it. Nothing else. We don't need arms, we don't need to do things. We have everything we need. When you attack somebody, somebody comes and protect is your problem, you're protecting it. Something very strange happened to my mother. Bless her soul, it's 10 years she's passed. She was in the house in Manchester and she was in the kitchen. And summertime, the back door open of the kitchen that she could enjoy the garden. A guy comes into the garden and says, "What are you doing at home? Go home. Go out. I'll come to rob your house, old lady." It's the story of what the Israelis are doing. Just get out. I want to do whatever I like. It won't happen this time. What are you doing here? What's got to do with you? We are here to rob and go. But this time you don't need to rob because every knowledge is there to deliver. We do not attack, we do not plan wars. We have a technology to deliver that what you want to fight with is not in your hand, it's gone. And when people get to know you don't have the power, I don't think many Palestinians wait for 1 second just in case the power come back. Aeroflot is one of the best airlines to fly with.
Which
You know
airline
what
is
is
it?
strange? Let me explain to you something which is very strange. When I was a young boy, in my early young age, we used to go to the Tehran airport. We had a lot of time going, families coming and going, and we always could see El Al flight on the runway in Tehran airport. This is the Israelis airline flying in and out of Iran, because there are so many Jews in Iran. And now what has changed, it puzzles me. It was those El Al flights who took so many Jews to build the state of Israel, and now what's happening with them? Are the Iranians at peace in Israel? Those of the Iranian blood, which is some 20-30% of the population. This is one of the things we have to understand. I was asked when my uncles left for Iran to Tel Aviv with all the families and my cousins, I said to my mom, where are they going? They're going to build a new nation for themselves, my mom said. And El Al was right in front, always parked on the Mehrabad airport in Tehran. What happened to those friendships and good times? How did we become enemies when we have nothing to do with each other but sharing blood? These are the things which we have to learn, and Keshe Foundation stands. It's my responsibility to protect my nation, and I do it scientifically, harming not a single soul. Delivering the technology I delivered to capture the drone, this time I make the aircrafts to go silence. I have to deliver my promise. I hope Israelis don't go that far. Because the jigsaw is very bad. Once the Israelis go down, the others who supported them will follow. That's a warning to United Kingdom and those who play around them. But as I said last week, when you go to Tel Aviv, kiss the Israelis, otherwise we make the same mistake as they did. When you kiss them, they become Muslims, they become Christians, and then religion would not exist because they'll be ashamed to call themselves who, what they've done to humanity. They ended up themselves. And that's a very direct warning to the state of Israel and the government of Israel. The Iranian nation and Israeli nation are one, we're of the same blood. And we both need respect and love from each other. My word is very direct. With the technology on the 3rd of December, I said we're going to show the technology. On the 4th of December, drone was stopped and landed. Now, the same goes to the state of Israel. One flight will be the last flight if we decide. The only flight left for Israeli leaders, which I suggest to you, all of you, is take your Al flight, put all the Israeli leaders, and fly into Tehran and come to peace. That will be allowed. They used to do it before, they can do it now. And the world will brace them, and all these things will stop. We'll see. We show the power of technology on Wednesday, on Saturday and Sunday, and then they know what we are talking. Let's talk about a good time, because that'll be a good time.
Thank you again, Mr. Keshe, very, very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Tell your nationals and nations, use the Universal Council member and what do you call the African continent member to immediately or do what they can do, and you can show them it can be done. Actually, what you do, you protect the nation, and anything flies over it. If you make enough of it that it can reach, the electronic system fails on entry.
Yeah, I started
Doesn't
already to
matter
make a
how.
plan. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Remember, when you do this, there are two factors. National airlines has to be protected, and at the same time, you have to remember that high-level bombing is one of the tricks they play. It can be directionalized fields that open at certain dimensions.
Okay.
This is, it's important to remember, nothing has to be harmed.
Yeah.
And if you have connections in which a lot of Syrians have with Palestine, advise the Palestinians to cover all the airfields of Israel with the flower of the ganses, that we will change the position.
Okay.
Very quickly. Very quickly.
Yes.
This can be dropped. It needs a combination working, and it can be brought out. Let them have the planes, let them wear the uniforms, but don't let them kill.
Okay.
This is part of what nation we have to do. And that's what we will do if it takes, because when you're a man of peace, you can find a way to do it peaceful way, and the peaceful way is when the enemy has got no tools to fight. He's not an enemy. He's got to obey by the rules of the, what do you call it, the land, which is love, care, and peace.
Wonderful.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for bringing this up, because our commitment to peace is sacrosanct, and now we move into that direction to do it. And the Israeli Prime Minister knows when I talk, I act. And it doesn't need me, they can kill me. The information is in the hand of many that you can deliver.
Keshe?
Yes, Mr. Jala.
Good day, Mr. Keshe. I would like to say I am part of Keshe family with this technology. I am at service in any time and in any shape. And if is it necessary, I can deliver part of this technology to this governments at myself from my pocket.
It's your responsibility to deliver.
Yes, Mr. Keshe, I know that, and we are doing that, but we need them only to listen or to give us the opportunity to deliver.
You don't need to listen. You can deliver. Look at the point of launch, not look at the point of delivery. This is the difference. Deliver the tool of peace before it becomes the tool of harm. There are many Keshe Foundation supporters in Israel of Jewish blood. It's your responsibility to deliver these to the military bases, to give them love and care, and let them have the process that will bring peace to Middle East. And that'll be the last place of war. We have no more war left. Syria is the last one. And it has to finish. And then we go into the phase of peace. There's a movie called A Bridge Too Far. Iran will be a bridge too far for the state of Israel. Because we'll respond with love and care and technology. We will not harm a single person, but we make them absolutely useless to use. And I don't need to say I do, I have done. This is a clear declaration of peace on this planet. Doesn't matter what nation you come from.
Good morning, Mr. Keshe. This is Jamila.
Good morning. Good morning, darling. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm very happy to hear what you said now and to get your support and your green light to start
you
acting.
Have the green light. You're there.
Yeah, hello?
You are the member of the Universal Council, and it's your right to do. It's your obligation.
Yeah, And I thank you, Soraya, to bring this today. And I thank you, Jalal and Soraya, and all our Arab community. So we are willing to start acting and delivering, and we need to gather every knowledge seeker, everyone, all the community of Universal Council to help us. And thank you. We will be starting now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
It has to be in a way to deliver the knowledge in a peaceful way. Not even a single Israeli soldier should be harmed. Not a single Israeli soul should be harmed, the same as no Syrian. Dismantling the tools of arm and war has to be the sacrosanct job. We go back to one position, that these systems you deliver has to be able to elevate the soul of the Israeli soldiers and the Palestinians and the Syrians and the rest. As a one nation is our responsibility, and it's also every Keshe Foundation support. If you are here to take and run, is your job to deliver enough that no more Syrians can suffer. No, nobody else can suffer.
As you said, enough is enough. Yeah.
Enough is enough. It's your responsibility as a head of the Keshe Foundation, what you call Arab Universal Council, to see through.
Yeah.
You have
Will
enough.
do.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you all my support, all the Jalal and Soraya and all Arab people support. Thank you.
We have to be peaceful, using technology not to harm, but using technology to enforce peace. And maybe this is the time to show the technology can do. The way to do it is to develop dynamic systems which work in a triangular system with a heavy lead content and a very heavy loaded with one thing, and it has to be. Most of these aircrafts are made of a specific steel, and most of these aircrafts carry combination of the combination of carbon for the microchip with a gold combination. If you can change the combination of the three together, the craft cannot take off. What happens that the carbon converts into diamond and the gold becomes the barrier condition between the two. Most of these aircrafts have as part of the fuel combination for high delivery lead content. It's part of your job to make sure that these things are well looked after internally in your systems. It creates a condition of no flight. This is a combination of fuel, structure, and electronics. Just paralyzes the system to flight, but it cannot damage civilian airlines. It has to be set up in a sequence directly, that when it moves to one, into the next one, traps in the second one. The ratio had to be 100 of lead ratio to 1. It's important. Psychologically, the pilots will not move.
This is so good. Sorry, I have to say. So they won't be able to move because they are paralyzed, or
no, they will understand the process. If you do, those who are in the technology side of the Keshe Foundation know exactly what the process means. It takes a few days, but they start taking toll, and there is no contamination. There is no other thing. It's just that it opens the eyes of military that none of the aircrafts will fly.
Okay.
You make a dome not to keep out. You make a dome to keep in, that nothing can fly out. That's the difference.
But when you make the dome to keep the people or inside the dome and not to go out. So what are you
It's
doing
for
when
the
you have
aircrafts. This is for aircrafts. That's how they work. You will understand.
Okay, now it's clear.
This is the job of every Palestinian. Give a kiss, give a cuddle, respect the Israeli soldiers, and give them a ball. And the worst thing is for an Israeli soldier to drop the ball with a guns of lead and a guns of carbon in it and a guns of what the aircraft body is made of. Give them a ball of peace, I call it, because then when they cannot fly, you'll come to that way. It's got, if you can deliver high speed rotation of it, it totally paralyzes the whole structure. But there is one thing that we need a commitment from the Syrian governments to peace too. The biggest problem is that these people turn the other way around. It's not one way. We need both sides to agree in peace. Not just because the other ones don't fly, we bomb them to pieces. This will not serve the peace. It has to be an agreement. I'm hoping that soon the what do you call it? The extent of the work of the peace of President Xi extends to Iran and Syria. It puzzles me why we're sitting on the one line. They tell me there is a lot of problems, a lot of other outside interest involved. Saudi Arabia wants to see the end of Syria because it's a Shia state and it's against to what they believe. These animosities amongst the line of the belief to the same prophet has to stop. This is part of the problem. The problem in Syria is complicated because the Saudis see the Syrians, if they get rid of them, the Saudi will become the center of the knowledge and they become the center of the point. Saudi is only the center of the point as long as the oil exists, and now with the plasma technology, goodbye. We have to become men of peace through the science and technology, not out of the fear of what they might do to us. In a way, we have to make it one-way traffic, and that one-way traffic is that the world leaders meet each other, how to better serve each other's nation. This is very hard for a lot of people to understand. The Chinese government has brought this system on how to serve the other nations. When your neighbors are at peace, your nation is peace. You don't get immigrants coming in. And a lot of European governments don't see what's happening with China. This new policy of one road, one belt, and what we call it one nation, one planet, one race, is the correct way to be, because the Chinese are investing in other nations that as China is becoming so advanced nation, it doesn't become another America that everybody wants to immigrate to. But they stay in their own nation to develop their own nations with the backing of a wealthy nation like China. And this is how Keshe Foundation is working. We are investing in nations. We are investing in totality of the nations. And we look at it as one nation. And this is what, if people understand what has been initiated by the Chinese leader, His Excellency President Xi, the world become a peaceful place, a prosperous place. And with the technology we release and the backing of the Chinese government in development of it, which is about to come about, we'll see this it'll be announced in a very short time. The collaboration and cooperation of Keshe Foundation with the Chinese, different parts of the Chinese organizations will deliver the one planet, one nation, one belt, one road, one peace. And that's the road to peace. I see, because I'm in the center of the negotiation and talk and other groups and other things which are happening in the background. We deliver technology with the backing of understanding, it'll bring peace. No nation is doing it. Now the Americans have brought this, what they call it, the World Bank, the IMF, robbing and making nations bankrupt. Then you have the Chinese who puts the latest technology, satellites and everything to nations that the nationals don't need to move. It's exactly what we are doing in Ghana. This is what we are doing now in Mexico. People stay home, high level paid, well educated and controlled by themselves. This is the way to do. Robbing and killing and talking is over. And it's amazing what I saw, and I said to myself, this guy's gone too far. He's lost it. And that's when Mr. Benanzo said, America prepared to attack Iran, Israel, and Syria. Oh my God, yeah. The Chinese have a very good say. An ant cannot shake a tree. Doesn't matter how thin it is. Maybe it's the time to put that ant on the ground and forget about the tree. He might fall and break his leg. Any other question? This is a statement of peace, and we deliver. I know many Israelis and Israeli governments listen to this every teaching. This is a hand of peace from Iran to the leaders of Israel. You're welcome to land in Tehran and talk about peace and prosperity, or we'll bring you with a camel, because you'll have no flight coming out of Tel Aviv. Exactly how my grandfather used to 200 years ago. From Palestine to Kabul on the back of the camel. I hope you don't take the state of Israel that far back. I'm sure the governors of China will welcome as part of the peace plan, the same as we do, to be as part of the same. Korea, Iran, and Syria will be part of the same peace, the peace talk. Evolution of the technology for science and peace. Any other question?
Good morning again, Mr. Keshe.
No, Caroline, you had your turn. Let other people speak.
Okay, no problem.
Next time.
There's someone who wants to speak. I'm not seeing anyone with their hand up right now. And, oh, there's Brett, actually. Let Brett talk. He had a question in the chat regarding a GAN's question.
Yes, hello, Mr. Keshe.
Yes.
My silly sausage of a daughter has broken her elbow. I was just wondering what my silly sausage of a daughter has broken her elbow.
Yeah.
What type of GANs of the calcium should I make? Should I use something like grated bone of the pig or something like that to get the calcium? Try to heal her?
I don't know if we want to give healing advice here exactly.
I do not, we do not give any medical advice. You have to go right to the medical teachers of the Keshe Foundation. They will respond to you immediately.
Okay.
What's the link, please? Sorry, we have made a decision due to the situation we are sitting at the moment. We do not give advice on the medical application. Apparently saving a life at the moment is a criminality.
Okay, thank you.
Just get in touch with Dr. Rodriguez, or I looked at the other day, there's 100 and something members on the Keshe Foundation medical team. They're always there to help you with the greatest pleasure. This is what we've done to ourselves. This is the amazing. This is what we've done to ourselves. That even we can take the suffering of a father, we cannot do, because a bunch of criminals, pedophiles, and God knows what are ruling one nation. It's amazing. You're the second person I have to say no, unfortunately. But there is a discussion here. please, sorry about that. There's a discussion going heavily in the background about Kevin Davenant. Kevin Davenant does not represent Keshe Foundation in any shape or form. And any allegation or anything he says that he's spoken to me orally, never taken place, not to my memory, at least past 2 years I haven't spoken to him. He should not use the Keshe Foundation structure to bring coin exchange. The Keshe Foundation coins, cash coins are not for exchange. They are part of the assets of one nation. And then Mr. Kevin Davenant under no any circumstances represent me or the foundation or anything which I've spoken. This has to be made clear because it's creating chaos in the German community, and we've seen some interesting Facebook articles on it. I have never spoken to Mr. Kevin Davenant except I've met him in a couple of conferences. And this has to stop. Start abusing my name and trying to allege that you are connected or by any shape or form to me and you speak my word. I can speak my word. I do not need somebody else to, what they call it, disgrace the foundation with so many behaviors of wrongdoing. Thank you very much. It's for you to correct your conduct, Mr. Davina. What I've read is not correct, and you should use your talent to elevate the souls. I know you're doing your best, but do it the right way, please. It's not coming from here. And do not connect Keshe Foundation cash coins, which is the internal Keshe Foundation structure, not the international open cash structure of coins, to something that you can exchange for. Our coins are not for exchange. Our coins are there to make one nation. We don't sell our central banks. Any other question, please?
Mr. Keshe, talking about the cash coin, I went online to buy 2 of them. Then I got an email that I didn't understand the email. Am I supposed to pay for it now or pay a donation? It wasn't clear for me.
No, we made the Keshe Foundations as coins as a donation. We explained it before. Keshe Foundation coins become part of the reserves, and you can add it to your national reserves as we explained. It opens up in the coming time, or you can keep it as your assets. It'll be equal. There is a discussion how about the valuation of it in time to come. Sometimes the 1st of June will ask all the Universal Council members to deliver the price of certain commodities in their nation to the council. This will be handed over to the Earth Council. This becomes the point of reference for balance evaluation, any depreciation or any revaluation of the cash coin across with other currencies, which means cash coins will never lose their value according to any balanced currencies, and this will be reviewed every 12 months and will be adjusted accordingly. So if a currency drops by 1,000 compared to euro, it'll be adjusted accordingly that it keeps its value and it stays. This is bringing stability into the whole financial organization, world organization. On the 1st of June, and again, 1st of June of each year, the Keshe Foundation Universal Council will go through the list of certain number of items across the world, which is essential things to live. And these will be locked in for the assessment of the value every 12 months. And accordingly, we adjust the cash coins equal to 1,000 euro to that amount, plus including the valuation of the euro itself. So it becomes a national cross, international cross valuation. So we value it across, and then we link it to the outcome of the production of the foundation factories. At the moment, you have governments, they buy gold as reserve. Now our wealth from our production of material, what we sell becomes as part of our national reserve, which is one nation. So what is made in the factory in Arizona, what is made in the factory in Ghana, what is made in the factory in China, all the profits become part of the international asset that we can share accordingly across the planet. It's well designed. It'll be that nobody loses value, but at the same time allows brings stability to what we mankind valued something against something, but now it's valued against the man's effort, against what all of us make. At the moment, if the Germans make money, it's their national asset, their currency to euro, the Americans have the dollars. Now it's one nation and we balanced it. The procedure is well set. As we come to it, we allow it to go through. Buy as many as coins outside as you like. It's your prerogative. You can lose or gain. With the Keshe Foundation coins, you donate to be part of the structure, and you can buy we buy back if you don't want your coins back to us at a value given. There is a need for stability in the world finance, and this coin will bring you through. In a stability that in the coming next 12 months we'll pay our staff in the coin. So you literally get paid by valuation of the coin. If you live in one country or not, we pay you one coin. So we don't say if you earn $1,000 in America or $1,000 in Ghana or whatever, you're paid the valuation of one coin is what you can take from the Keshe Foundations across the world. You go to Golden State, you want one coin value, that's what it is accordingly. You want to go to Ghana, is the same. You go to China, is the same. And we do that through our factories. This is what they call club coin. It belongs to a club of peaceful people called the Keshe Foundation. And then all our factories, interaction between all the structures of the Keshe Foundation factories will be done this way. It become part of us. So in China, Keshe Foundation, China supplies Keshe Foundation, let's say Australia, it trades on the equal balance of the coin, which means we don't consider any kind of inflation or and secondly, when you are the coin of one nation, there is no exchange. If you go from America to Germany, you have exchange. But if you're working in the same one nation currency, there is no exchange. Doesn't matter where you are. Do you exchange your money when you go from Berlin to Frankfurt? That's what it's going to become. It takes time. The process is correct. This procedure is correct. And we deliver it. And it's coming through. Try to donate and take as many coins as possible. Then you understand why.
Mr. Keshe,
These coins keep them appreciated. Pardon?
When I was in Iran, I exchanged $1,000 for 4 million, I think 300. When I was coming, it jumped up to 5 million, I think 300. So I was thinking if
you made a lot of money.
No, but I was.
Oh, you lost a lot of money.
I didn't lose. I mean, yes, but it doesn't really matter because I don't look at the money that way. But anyway, I was thinking as a universal concept policy, how can we take the cash coin to? What is the reason for this fluctuation? How can we stabilize it by?
It will be, we stabilize it through, let me explain to you something, Azajan. For 30 years, I worked in international business and I made a lot of profit out of exchange rate in my bills. When we used to buy and sell, we used to hold back bills till there was a right time to make more money out of the payment of the bill by depreciation or whatever than actually the products or commodities sometimes. So I've learned from that in how to structure that this thing doesn't happen. This is how the Keshe Foundation coin is set up. We'll go continent by continent. We'll take the maximum, the top three, top middle and top bottom, or right bottom three, and then we take an average for a continent. In so many ways that we bring balance not to a nation but to a continent, and the valuation stops in that region, in that bracket. We allow certain appreciation in the rate of the growth. That it means the investment grows, it just doesn't pay interest. And that will be something in the regions that we will be announced according to what we see as the international growth values of the factories around the world. It is very, very interesting how we'll go. Take as many coins as you can, because once we go through the transition in the next few weeks, the governments will take priority. We will exchange coins for national reserve, what do you call it, guarantees, not payments. Which means we give coins for building factories in the governments. We use the coins as a commodity exchange. It'll come in this, you will see how rapid this will grow. This is, we need to what do you call it, to reach a threshold. I put 1 million coins in the market out of 5 billion we announced, and we increase it to 20 million in the coming weeks to meet the demand for the government. The total number of coins is 5 billion, more or less equal to 1 coin per head of nations population. So you can see there is a lot of thoughts behind it where it come in. It'll become your national security, becomes your guarantee for your old age, and at the same time allows the old age, which is running, it will run into 100, 200 years in the future. The nations can afford looking after their people, the youth, the education, and everything else. Gold mine runs out. People's living, spending will never run out. And then as an income compared to where it comes, it covers itself. The factories, the operations of the Keshe Foundation become the sources for looking after its own people. When you go into a shop, you can have all the products in every range you have. You shop from the Keshe Foundation, you have no money. When you use your coin number, the goods are free. When you are correct and you're shopping and there is nothing to do, you pay according to what is on demand. It pays for running off everything else and paying everything else. As we becoming correct people, we will not abuse the system. And some people might abuse the system, but how many cans of water and food can you take across? We expect to produce 6,000 different items within the next 5 years across the Keshe Foundation manufacturing. You will start seeing a rapid growth in products of the Keshe Foundation. The catalog will come. The present Keshe Foundation framework of products will be adding goods, as you've seen. Italy has started adding Chinese, what do you call it, research centers. They've received the, what do you call, a request to produce 1 items per week to be sold to support the Keshe Foundations in China. The same will go to Accra and Nigeria and the rest. We start developing what you buy from the websites. It supports the Keshe Foundation, what do you call it, people who work in the research and the background. And this is how we'll start the changes and the development. And the coins will be the backbone of what it is. We have everything to operate as one nation. And we don't need to go outside and use the present systems which is fully cropped. We monitor our own banking through our own people, we monitor our own finances, and in time as we grow, when you employ 1, 2, 3 million people and you are employed of 100,000 in one nation, you negotiate tax rates with your people. We pay our taxes to people. You become affiliated to Keshe Foundation, and we negotiate taxes for you with the governments. Why should you pay 25% when we can negotiate for you 20 or 18%, which is the correct way? But this way they get paid, or the Keshe Foundation supporters don't touch black money, that they sell something in cash in the background. Everything to the sun they do, they declare and they pay for it. I'm prepared to pay 17, 18% of my work, but I'm not prepared to pay 40% of it. So if that's the case, I'll start hiding the 20%. So who loses? The nation. This is part of when you become members of the Keshe Foundation to deliver, what do you call it, signing the peace treaty. This is part of it, being peace with yourself, with your soul and your nation and and the people of one planet. People will move in that direction. We have no choice. Any other question?
There was one question from Corey who's concerned, will the government be taxing humanity when they get hold of it?
There is a false assumption. There is no free ride. Taxing, don't pay taxes. I always say don't pay taxes. If paying 15, 18% taxes is too much and there is something wrong with the nation, that the governments can live. Most of the world nations, governments can live with 15 to 18% taxes, very comfortable for their citizens. You don't pay taxes. No, I don't want to pay any taxes. Okay, no problem. We welcome you. You cannot use the road because we use it. You cannot have any water delivered because it needs pumping. We cannot deliver the electricity. No, okay, we give you the maglev system. Use of schools and hospitals is forbidden because all these others are paying. So we come up with a very quick solution. Yeah, you get home locked. Maybe you live in a space, there is no tax. At the moment, we don't have any taxes to go to space. So the only way to be correct that
Hello, Mr. Keshe. Did we lose the signal there? I think we temporarily lost Mr. Keshe.
Yes, he will be back.
Okay.
Don't worry.
Okay, thank you, Caroline.
No problem.
Okay, just bear with us a minute or two here while we reconnect with Mr. Keshe or vice versa.
Hello, can you hear me?
Ah, yes, there you are. Thank you, Mr. Keshe.
Sorry about that. My battery fell out. The Israelis didn't get me, unfortunately. No, it's when you conduct yourself in the right way, you have to pay taxes. You have to pay for what you take. You can make it meterage rate use, or you paid. Okay, that's what it is. It's actually, when it'll come to it, many of us will not pay taxes. We'll pay by effort, by delivery of effort, and we cover with what is needed. Then we need to. You don't need to work. What do you call? 24 hours a day. We work for very few hours a day, and we at the same time enjoy working and participating, being part of the civilization. I was talking to a friend of ours very recently. I said, they say I take my annual holiday for a month. I'm going to Caribbean or I go to Spain. Now I take a year off. I'm going to planet Zeus or planet Mars to see how it is, and I come back. This is not a talk anymore. When you see the development on Saturday, Sunday, you know it's your job to build the next reactors to fly. And everybody can fly. Any one of you understands the process. First of all, understand what's going to happen on Saturday, Sunday. We are teaching you not only to fly, we are teaching you how to make food, how to make energy, how to make medicine, what you need, how to make material. The teaching of Thursday and Saturday is a blueprint of the total understanding of how to make materials in the space, and nobody has told you can't use it on this planet. So open your eyes. This is a shortcut to not to pay a lot of taxes, but at the end of the day, who's going to pay for you? And you don't know all the subjects of the medicine, and you can't keep on having cabbage every day, and the child cannot be educated and not be looked after. I have a very interesting point, and that is, can we live on our own and don't pay any taxes and live on an island? Maybe now we live in an island of space. There are no governments to take taxes. Or we live on moon, and then we come to Earth to work, and we disappear. Nobody can catch us. We are the citizens of the moon. We don't pay taxes. Any other question?
Mr. Keshe, can we buy the coins for the nation?
Yes, that's exactly what this purpose was.
So I can, because as a universal currency policy, I should buy coins for Iran probably.
Yes, that will be done at the end of it. You choose where you want to deposit your nation.
So how do you divide this money in Iran?
You decide. It cannot go more than the number of the population of the nation.
So how many coin goes for Iran, for example?
You got 70 million of them, huh?
So I have to get 70 million coin from you?
You can't buy it. It'll be done with you can buy, I will tell you how it will be. The governments will buy your coins back at a very favorable rate when it comes to it. Let us do our work.
Okay, so for now I can buy 2 for now.
You can buy 10 if you want. We don't want to stop you.
Okay,
but,
thank you.
It'll come very soon, but it will go in that way.
Sorry about that. I had to mute you, Mr. Keshe. That was some feedback coming through there.
No, it's just I came back with the battery.
Oh, we have an echo happening. Now it's okay, I think. Still hearing an echo there.
I'm out. It's back in there again, please. Can you hear me?
Yes, that's better. Thank you.
Okay. Do you want to go into any teaching, or is there any other question?
Well, I think it's time to go into some teaching. That would be preferable. Speaking of which, maybe there's a question that could be asked that might introduce the teaching. Brett is interested. Can we use the current reactors by spinning the outside but holding the center glass ball?
Yes, it's been done before. It creates certain conditions which, when there's a number of things which I would like to explain. It's come out of a lot of discussion and talks we do nowadays with different knowledge seekers. First of all, remember something which a lot of you have forgotten. I just go over it that you understand. When you have a reactor, if you make it dynamic, you work with, when you put the GANs of whatever here, you work with the GANs there. But when you put another GANs here, you put another GANs here.
These are Ganses interface. But if you leave the center core empty, you receive a new concept, a new understanding. Your plasma now is a pure plasma without any material. Because it's a combination of the Ganses from this and common denominator of the water which is in it. Then these two Ganses behave as a mass inertia. If you remember, the Earth has a core which creates the interaction of fields inside it, creates the gravity and magnetic field, and the matter state of it creates the inertia. This is important, especially for Arizona team and the other teams who are working on the flight system. If you match the inertia field forces of it with the Earth gravitational magnetic field inertia, you'll get what you get with the use of rotating magnets. Inertia positioning. If you be able to create with the plasma condition of field forces, you work with the gravitational field of the planet. Those flights which are created for the Earth condition moving, they need something like this. Those who want to fly beyond the space of the Earth, they need something like this. And then if you understand this in totality, when you come across to another land or another space in the universe, you have your plasma, then you create the condition of the inertia of that area, and then you can work within that area. You can change the inertia to the water, because water has a different inertia than the solid part of the Earth. If you understand that places like oceans have combination of the matter, magma, and the liquid, and you can replicate it, you can sink within the depth of the sea and the oceans, and even live a life of a fish. So if you're looking to do a deep space travel, now that we start teaching space, understand between the plasma gravitational magnetic field, which is the same as the center of the Earth, and understand with the creation of the inertia matter, even if you have a Gans, they'll create that condition. So you can decide what inertia you create. The inertia comes from the interaction of the fields of the matter state of the entity, not from the plasmatic condition of the entity. And it can be replicated. This is how you create gold and silver and the rest of it. Our team in production on the weekend will show you how to do it. The other point which is important for us to understand, I hope this gave you, a lot of you, an insight of understanding. The other thing which you have to understand, I was talking to knowledge seekers today. They talk about the field. This is the Earth and this is the field of the Earth. Excuse me, my friends. Who has taught you this has forgot to tell you something else. Sorry. As much as you have the fields going out of the North Pole of this planet, you have fields which are coming inward of the North Pole of the planet. We don't have one-way traffic. So if you have a magnetical here, you have a gravitational here too. A magnetic field forces, any magnetic field forces, when you stand in between it, has two characteristics. It gives antics. It has both gravitational and magnetical at the same time. And apparently a lot of Keshe Foundation knowledge seekers have not grasped this one yet, and it's causing them a lot of problem with the systems they make, because they think it's magnetical, only goes out. But what they don't realize is that the magnetical field is stronger than the gravitational field. Magnetical field cannot exist without the gravitational. Tesla, bless his soul, understood part of it, but he couldn't understand how. If you understand this, flight systems become a game's play. These are part of what we have to what we call to re-emphasize, to understand more, and to be able to discuss exactly what it comes. When you have I was talking to these knowledge seekers, they all, if you go back to the original drawings, I used to always draw this way. I think it's the best way to draw it this way. As you have a magnetical gets weaker, your gravitational gets stronger. And this is something you have to understand. This is something which is essential, especially those who start working on the space reactors. Past 2-3 pages I've shown, it's important for you to understand what you're doing. Those of you who are working on a space reactors, you see the float coming in and then you're trying to disperse it. Try to find a way that you can bring a lot of gravitational field for the top core that it spreads open to. You can do this because these lines are line of connection to the point of your destiny. Planet Zeus is here. You need to bring these to be able to create the fields that when it goes absorbed in your reactors, yeah, you can create the destination field. The soul of the man, twin star system work on the same basis. These are essential part of understanding, especially in your top core or the bottom core. Absorption of the point of destination fields, you know, we get the spectrum of the fields of the universe in our space reactors. In now developing a system of measurement, we know this one gravitational coming in and this one magnetical which connects to it is for this planet. So what we do, we increase the dimension and strength field of the position to these two, zero time communication, zero time transportation. This is what I said last week in the teachings. Very much that you create a package and you put the mouse in it and you create a field of it, and the mouse lands in the house across in the United States from China, one-day mouse delivery in 5 seconds. These are all what is going to come, and we have to understand the process that we can do. The understanding is, I was teaching in the private teaching, I think yesterday. When you have the earth and you have the, the sun and you have the twin, the rays which you see goes out of the sun is for this guy. And all the rays which was coming from here is for this guy. And us in the middle continuously see fields from both sides. We are continuously fed. Depends which one we want to lock into with our souls, we can be there in no time. No one has ever made measurement of the speed of the plasma fields. We don't even know. You call it the speed of light 1,000,000 times, it'll be there. We need to start understanding, and then in understanding to start applying it. There is a number of points that we have to understand and follow, and that is always remember, repeating again, when you stand here in the magnetic field, you are receiving both. When you are testing for your flight systems, told you this last time, 1 to 1, there is not much, it's just a connection. 2 to 1, one becomes the stronger to absorb or to give, depending on the atmospheric condition. If you're working on Earth atmospheric condition, oxygen is alkalineness, or oxygen is gravitational. It's the same meaning. Hydrogen is acidity or magnetic. But as it receives, it has to give, it gives more than it can receive. So hydrogens become depleter of the gravitational magnetic field of the one of the oxygen. So now what it comes to you is to understanding the ratio, order of magnitude, 24 times to 1. Depletion is much faster. And whatever is here, this takes you a week to get a cancer done, this takes you a day to cancer done. Then, when you've done that ratio, is very much what we call another process of this one is a voltage, one is a current. It's all the same name. And in the cycle of the plasma, as I was saying to our friends, is sinusoidal. These are a few things you have to remember and apply, and then you will see flowing a lot of new insight in running the space reactors. You want a higher speed, you create a higher ratio. In the space loading, you will learn all these things this week. A lot of you can do. Those of you out there interested in creating peace in Syria, listen to the teaching of the space technology and ask all the Arab nations supporters to do. And just spend a few hours, buy a ping pong ball, you can do the job. The ping pong ball can paralyze the most advanced army in the world called the State of Israel to peace. Just understand what you're doing. And then use the same technology to feed the nations. It's when I see places like India, so much suffering, so much hunger, and we have the technology and we cannot do it, and we cannot bring it. There's no option left for us but to create conditions of space satellites to feed people through energy levels. We cannot create so much food. Transportation will become available in time, but we have the knowledge to deliver food satellites, conditions which we know now. You learn on this weekend. Where not many people die in Africa of hunger. This is the wrong image given to the black man. They are the healthiest, the best food, they have everything. There is a Sahara, yes, but there's a Sahara in China too. There's a big Sahara in the United States. How come they're not crippled? How come when it comes to different color of skin they have to be done? Africans are well fed. I spend enough time in Africa. I've never seen so healthy people with all the food they have. You just plant the trees there, you have something to eat. It's places like India, places like United States, the hunger in the United States is unbelievable. People die hungry. We have say in Farsi. It says, I keep my face red with the slapping it. You know, the rouge in the French couldn't buy rouge. What they do, they slap their face to get red and it looks like they have a rouge. This is what the Americans are. There's the hunger in this nation is so bad that we have to feed this nation. One of the priority nations to look after is United States. It's a facade, what they say exists, but when we put the food satellites, food conditions, it's for everyone. We don't care who it is. I think the first times when they receive the food energy through the food satellites and everything else, a lot of people will be surprised. I haven't eaten for a few days, what's going on, but I'm not hungry, but I have a lot of energy. So you're receiving it, but what are you going to do with that energy? Or shall we put a meter on every man's soul that you receive so much for the satellite, this payment tax you? Governments will do soon by the look of it. Soul tax machine. It's not theory anymore. You'll see it on this week. Build it. Please spend your time to bring peace on this planet by developing new systems, by bringing new ways. We just show you how to walk. Maybe we just show you how to crawl. The walking will come after it. Understand, you have experts like Arlen, you have experts like John who spends over years in Arizona trying to develop this technology. You have people like the groups which are done on the food, the groups which are done on the health. Learn from them and start using it. We'll supply the support in the governments, in the shape of factories and the rest of it. Any other question?
That empty bowl from the middle, has it to be vacuumed as much as possible?
No, it'll vacuum itself.
So it can be an empty bowl with air?
Yeah. If you like to suck it out, you can do so, but it'll suck itself out clean.
Thank you very much.
What will happen, let me explain, Sandor, you're an old hand in this game, huh? You and I are becoming ancient pieces in this technology. Rick is the other one. You have a ball. If you remember, we put the gases in it when we speeded it up, and then we saw the center going empty and we had the gases here, you remember? And then we had the water here. And then we reached this, what do you call it, empty ball. Now, instead of waiting for the empty ball to be produced, you put it in there, you position it. Now, what is going to happen is that once you put it in the dynamic position, what's going to happen? The air molecules get stuck to the side of the wall, and this center becomes vacuum. Now you understand?
That's great. That simplifies a lot.
Yeah. Doesn't matter what you do. This is the wall of the core, and the orange is the oxygen, or the air, which gets pushed to the side. It becomes so minute that it becomes irrelevant. But the field forces of this and this material will push to create this. And now you work with a pure plasma. This is how the center of the Earth works. But because of the rotation of whatever, the center of the Earth rotates in a different way. But because of the field force pressures, the magma condition has been created. It puts the center of pressure on that. A slow speed is good enough to rotate at, what do you call it, 40,000 kilometers per day to create the day and night. You don't need to go very faster than that.
So if I want to remove even traces of oxygen, I use a ball which doesn't contain oxygen, and furthermore, I can flush the ball with hydrogen gas produced on the place.
In the future conditions, in the future understanding, you will see you can have the quartz which is just filled up only with the plasma, if you understood this. Armor knows we have this for the factory production.
Thank you very much for clarification.
You're welcome. Any other question? We teach a very little nowadays, but very powerful, to the point, and very applicable. General
So we have motors, we have balls, we have ganses, and it takes a couple of hours to put it together.
Ping pong balls are cheap.
Yes.
And thanks to our scientists, they made something called super glue. Anybody can make a flying machine. Who would like to fly to Washington? I don't have the address of the White House, but soon we'll find out. Somebody will give us the strength coordinate.
How do we determine that, Mr. Keshe, the coordinates or the strength coordinates for the destination?
We need a system of, the Russians are working on it. Boeing has worked on it for some time. The gravitational field forces of the planet, according to its inertia, is constant. And that's why I taught you the inertia. The mass land of the planet does not change that much. You understand? The inertia stays more or less constant according to what we understand. Less the gravitational field forces and less the magma rotation field generation of the current.
So
and you can fix it. Planet Earth is fixed every inch of it. It's got a specific system, the strength.
I was going to say, if the gravitational is more constant, we can already measure the magnetical. Is that right? What we see for them putting out the data for
we will. It's a matter of development of technologies to confirm position management strength, or actually magnetic strength. So on the planet Earth, this position has a given gravitational magnetical inertia, and then it has a given gravitational magnetical plasma, and then it has, because of its liquid's content inside, which varies continuously, it has a certain fluid, or we call magma, gravitational magnetic. Very soon scientists will measure this, and this gives you a specific point in the given position. Depends how far is the magma from the surface. Depends on the thickness of the crust and everything else. It depends on everything. This new systems will give you that.
So what happens if we have a runaway and we determine the wrong strength? Do we leave this atmosphere, or do we stay in the Earth's atmosphere?
Oh, we'll have a lot of fun. What happens when you're in the car and you put your foot on the accelerator and not the brake? You end up in the middle of the ravine. So what's the difference? You end up in the space, you know where you are, you get yourself back in again. It'll be fun seeing how many new under 18 drivers will overshoot. Oop, I landed on Mars. Papa, can you come and take me? I crashed into the moon.
Insurance is going to start.
I can
there is
hear
no
it.
insurances anymore.
Dad, can I borrow the keys? Dad, can I borrow the keys to the spaceship?
Yes, it works with my soul. Come and get it. It will be very hard to steal cars, huh?
Mr. Keshe, if we create a device which is like a round and it has two layers, the upper layer is all gravitational with the digit, because the gravitational stays the same, and the lower layer moves around the upper layer, and that's magnetical. and that represent every point in the planet. So by dialing, adjusting the dial of the gravitational magnetic, we should be able to move from one place to another place in a second. Then, yeah?
More or less, more or less. But
But-
you have to understand variables. There are a lot of variables in it.
So how can we
It's
do
not-
it?
You learn. You haven't paid me. I haven't been paid for 5 years of teaching yet.
So can you give us the detail, please?
You see, I've shown you all the beauty of the car now, but I'm not giving you the key. You want the key, you got to pay. The payment is do your job right. You understand. You don't need me.
Okay, so you're not giving us the key. That's what you're saying.
Maybe on Sunday.
Okay, so I have pieces, but I have to put them together myself.
Yes. Independent investigation of science is a responsibility of every human being and anything in this space.
But does this piece has to be with
And
gold?
then you get yourself other problems in this space. I can imagine you, Azar, in a space. You'll be a running away ball. It'll be fun. They say, oh, that's Azar. It was there. Now it's appeared there. She's testing everything.
Mr. Keshe, I know how to handle myself in a space. My problem is how to get there.
Oh my God. We shall see. We shall see. It's good to know. When you know it, please teach us. We'll be there. Don't forget, we like some chili kebab on the way back.
I will send you one.
Thank you very much. Any other question?
Is there going to be a materials required list for Saturday?
Yes, please bring your soul. There is no classroom. It's a combination of totality of what you need, what knowledge you need to gain to be able to be in a space. One of you says, okay, I become a chef, I'll make the food. The other one says, I'll become an engineer, I'll make the material. One says, I'll play the doctor, I'll make the medicine and the material for it. And when it says, oh, we need something else. And then 5 or 10 of you, and then at the same says, okay, it's 4 of us, we have 4 souls, we can make the spaceship, let's go. As simple as that. Everybody else in the universe does it. Mankind is just learning to do it. Recipe.
Hello?
A very strong, powerful soul. Pardon?
Here is Boris speaking from Brazil. I have a question. It's about the empty ball. And I was thinking when we take a ping pong ball and we just fill it half and rotate it, it gives also an empty ball inside. Is that right?
Yes, it does. That you can use it for different purposes and different applications. Yes, that's one way of doing it. But in fact, then you still don't have an empty ball. You still have that material in air of that empty ball, which makes their own fields. This is a very easy way to do gaseous flights.
It will be a
and
different.
It's one of the ways to do deep submergence into the center of the core of the planet. But you have to know what you're doing.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other question? Or have we taught enough for you today? We started 3 o'clock. It's 3.5 hours. We'll see you on Sunday and Saturday, 10 o'clock Central European time. Bring your white clothes for your being a doctor. You can become plasma doctors. Bring with you the white clothes to become a chef, and bring with you a white clothes to be able to make your own what you call energy systems. My call goes to the Chinese community. Please start getting in touch with Nathan for we shortly, hopefully in the next few weeks, announce recruitment for people to start teaching Chinese people who start working in the factories of Keshe Foundation and the research centers. We need you. You spend years to learn this technology. Now it's time to come and teach the others and that they understand. We need large number of teachers to teach workers how to handle, how to be aware of everything else. And most probably a good job pay if you're looking for a job. Any other question, or shall we call it a day?
Well, there's a couple of questions, of course. There's one sort of technical question regarding Ganses and the percentages that we reduce
I'm
the
sure
mass.
you can answer that. That's your division, not mine. You do the workshops.
Yeah, I didn't think you wanted to
Read
get
the
into
question.
the details of Ganses that
Read
we've
the
covered
question.
before
Read
several
the question.
times. Okay,
Read the question.
it's from Nick. He says, hello, everyone. I have a question about the calculation of a GANS production. Just a minute. Boris, your microphone's open. I have to mute you there. If you could mute. Okay. About the calculation of a GANS production. Mr. Keshe mentioned once that we reduce the mass of a nano-coated material by about 5% and GANSes by about 20%. We calculate with about an 8% reduction in mass for copper. I think he mentioned heavier elements have to be reduced more, but I might be wrong. Are there specific calculations for other nano-coated materials besides copper? Would be very helpful for those who have no access to analyzing methods like gas chromatography to evaluate the produced GANSes and figure out the correct factor for each material. Thank you.
What would you like to answer, Mr. Clement? These are Wednesday jobs.
Well, first of all, I'd probably say that it probably wasn't due to the analyzing methods like gas chromatography that you came up with the with that percent reduction with the mass of the nano-coated copper, I think, but I could be wrong about that perhaps. But basically that you've covered it before, that a certain percent is used because of the nano-coated material is more expanded, so the particles or plasma entities inside that expanded nano material will be less dense, essentially. So you reduce the mass by 5% or 8%.
Do you know how I will answer it? Can you please wait for another few months till all the machinery is there and we can give you exact figures?
Okay.
I think that would be a very good answer, to be precise. Remember, after Tuesday, Saturday, Sunday, if many of you go crazy the way you went with Maghreb system to save your electricity, try to fly, and then very soon we shall see emergence of new technologies that we have to measure and everything else. And I say goodbye to those of you who by mistake might be going for a space flight without you knowing what you're testing. Remember when you land in planet Zeus, the address back home is the soul of the earth. I think I'll give you a very good tip.
The soul of the earth.
Mr. Keshe, I will take your address.
Planet Zeus, I'm still waiting to go home. Any other question, or shall we?
Well, of course, the questions keep coming, of course, but there's questions about, do we need to create a multi-core ball? Is it okay to have a, if there's an empty ball plasma inside a rotating GANS cores, will that plasma still be there if we remove the outer GANS cores around it?
I don't know. We should ask the question when it happens.
Yes, so
the
report back
problem
to
with
us,
us
Krasmer.
is uh, we have to understand the whole process and how the whole process comes to being and why and how we do it.
And I expect that the activities of the weekend will be a big contribution toward understanding that. If people were to follow along, that is.
Yeah, they got try to follow um, uh, try to follow with all the enthusiasm that you did with the MAGRAP systems. As I said, every MAGRAP system has worked. And we received yesterday and this morning figures of MAGRAP system from official people, which we gave 2 MAGRAP system to sometimes back in October, November. And yesterday in the meeting discussion, we were told that this technology works and the MAGRAP system do make a reduction. And this morning we asked for some data. They told us it works, reduction around 30%, depending on the resistive or conducting material they put in. We got to go with this much more. So all the space systems will work. All the space systems will work. All the space materials you'll make, it'll work. It's just how you can confine the system. Every one of you, I'll give you my address. If you can land there, we'll have dinner together. And let's say about 100 of you should be able to land very soon. And if you can land in Accra 2nd of August, hopefully you're welcome to the opening of the Accra manufacturing, if you get it all right. Depends if Alman can use this spaceship to get everything in on time. Many of you should be able to produce the spaceships. Don't look at the expensive systems. A couple of tweaks and a bit of ping pong ball will give you the same thing as a brand new $1,000 system. Oh, I have to tell you something. In the next few weeks, Keshe Foundation will release a large number of new products for the MAGRAP system, the space system. We should be able to supply you the system for production of materials around about $100, $200 that you can make as much gold as you like with all the recipe and the instruction how to do it. The space system, flight system that you can test yourself if you want to do it. This will be around about $1,000. So you can build yourself a car to move. And if you want to test new medical system, it will be around $100, $200 systems that you can help yourself. We're going in the detailed structure of how and what to do it and how to load it. This is done on the understanding of one nation, one planet, one race, and everything is in your hand. You have the freedom to go. Any other thing?
Well, Brett has a question about the use of salts for the separation of the ganses, but perhaps that's a question for the weekend that you might want to delve into
Sorry,
more.
there is no salt in the space. How do you want to separate ganses?
Okay, well, that's
you can do
something
that. You can create a separation, but if you're looking in the Gans space of the plasma field, they create their own separation. Ganses never mix, do not mix usually. Unless you deliberately want to mix to separate the what do you call it, the ganses with a good distance gap, which has certain applications. Thank you very much for today. See you on Saturday at 10 a.m. Come in with a lot of joy and happiness, come in with a lot of hope for the change of humanity, and come to know that we have achieved what our ancestors for millions of years dreamed. The last generation looked into the sky and thought if they can fly like a bird, and we looked further if we can be part of the universe, and that opportunity is given to man from Saturday and Sunday. We all can become the soul of the universe because we all can learn and we can all do what the stars do. And if you understand a little bit more from Saturday's teaching, you can tune your soul to the soul of any planet and fly within the universe without any spaceship. But that needs a lot of understanding, the true understanding of knowledge, and how good you know your own soul. Then you become a twin star for that soul. Thank you very much for today. See you on Saturday at 10 a.m. It'll be nice if we can go out with the video from Lisa. We start Monday with the video from Lisa or the Earth Council member. Thank you, indeed. Is anybody there, or are we left behind?
Yes, hi. Thank you, Mr. Keshe. We'll get that video lined up, and this is the end of the 219th Knowledge Seekers Workshop for Thursday, April 12th, 2018. Many, many thanks to Mr. Keshe for continuing with these workshops, and we look forward to the weekend at 10 a.m. Central European Time for the Spaceship Blueprint sessions. Okay, now I'll have to find that video.
Rick.
Yes.
There is no sound.
Yeah, we're desperately trying to find the correct video to play. So just bear with us another minute or two till we find it.
Thank you.
Now it's time to sing.
Oh, we did this yesterday. You want more voices?
We got to the sound manager is not making enough.
I thought I lost the noise or the voice or the music, and I thought I better ask because.
I think, Rick, you better come for a second time. Goodbye, good night, and or do you want me to start a new session?
We first gonna have to have a pause.
Well, I can't. I don't have the video, and Flint's not here right now, and we're just trying to. Vince and I are trying to sort it out here, so okay. I think we should all find it short.
Just say goodbye as it is, no problem. Thank you very much for today. And
we're gonna go out in silence. Good night. See everybody on Saturday.
We're gonna make enough noise on Saturday.
Okay, well, Vince says he's found it, so.
Mr. Keshe, are you going to be on the Blackboard like live or just like this?
Secrets, we are not telling you.
I mean,
I might broadcast from Planet Zeus.
Is it yesterday if you stand like Blackboard so we can see you?
No, you don't need to
stage. As I want you on stage.
Yeah. No problem. Are we ready to go? We never had this before. We are becoming well organized, so we are too excited for Saturday.
Well, we're trying to work in the background, and we should not have done that through this program today. We should have focused on the program rather than trying to do the Saturday thing. So sorry about that. I apologize.
Don't worry, we call it a day.
Okay, now we've got the video here. We've got the video here now. Turn down the sound a bit there, Vince. Thank you.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, did that work okay? So I'll just play again. And
I heard something. It's very loud, very loud.
Is that better for you, Rick?
The process of understanding is very simple. The process is, as I explained last time, I explained more in detail. We are created out of the rays within the center of the universe. In interaction and reduction in strength and division by the strength in certain strength fields, in collection of the totality of the expansion of the universe, some energies, some dynamic fields have come together. Over billions of years, these fields lead to the creation of what we call the sun. Where the plasma gathers together. The same process repeats again because the sun is the same as the energy center of the universe. Now, the heavier, the larger amount of the energy which is collected in this span of the universe, called the sun, that irradiates out, does the same thing again. radiates fields out, and in interaction with the itself, with the fields of itself, leads to creation of planet. In that process of the creation of planet, the same process happens again. In the interaction of the fields of the earth with its environment and cooling and exchange with the strength of the other things in the environment of the space of the solar system, leads to creation of man, cell, matter state. And that itself, in coming together and slowing down in certain ways, as we call, leads to another sun. We call the soul of the man. This is the truth about the life and creation of the man. But if the soul of the man can understand and absorb and be correct with his conduct, he can become the strength of the fields and carry the strength of the field of the planet which came to this creation. And if the soul can understand with the same process, can interact, can be correct, can absorb with itself the totality of the strength of what it needs, it shall become the sun. And then the same soul has the energy that it can absorb within the solar system, within the galaxy, shall become the center of the universe. Earth, we call it the rain, come from and goes back to. In the solar system, we call it planetary system. We come from the rays, we become the planet, and we go back to the mother. The same thing happens with the galaxies, with the solar systems, which they get absorbed back in and they chewed up back into the universe. The life, the process of existence in the universe is the same. It doesn't matter on what exchange and what extent. So, what is the man fighting for? Why do we fight for something which has come from the point of the creation, and in the process it goes back to the creation? The soul of the man, as the energy of the earth, gives the face of the man, the face of the earth, and that process is the same for the soul of the man. Our soul, in reduction in strength, in interaction with the emotion of the field of the environment, leads to manifestation of the existence of the man. But once it's completed, does it need the face? Or can it be and becomes free from it, what we call the soul of the man, to be free and detached from its existence? Our soul is part of the process of the creation. The key to one question for man shall be in the future to be answered. As we saw the sun became the earth, and as we saw the earth became the man's soul, what would be the destiny of the soul of the man now becomes free at the point of departure from physicality. Would it become the sun for creation of another life, or many lives, or correction of lives? This shall be, and this is how it happens. When you create a soul which is not correct, which is misconduct by itself, cannot give, you lead to the creation of this next cycle of creation, which has started the wrong way, the wrong strength. This is one thing the man has never understood. You become the creator of another universe, another cycle. And this is what you have to judge within the structure of the soul of the man. What would I like that cycle to be? In the physical life, we create children. In the dimension of the life of the soul of the man, what that man, what that soul will create. If man has thought up to now, that's it, my end, my point, when I die is finished, there's as much fallacy that when the sun is destroyed in any shape or form, there shall be nothing left. But we know the part of the sun becomes part of the galaxy and becomes part of new life. So shall be the soul of the man. The judgment of the man has to be according to what he sees the future his soul can conduct to be. The day of judgment is for the man, not in front of the Creator. That what my soul judges to be and what shall create. Man never understood and shall never understand till can solve this dilemma within itself. The reality is very, very, very real. And that is, as we've seen, the energy of the galaxy become the sun, the energy of the sun has become the earth, and the energy of the earth has become the soul of the man. So shall be the soul of the man, which is the energy itself, another cycle of life. How can you change when you don't understand? How can you change the process of understanding if you do not understand the process of the creation? Do we need to extend the understanding of the man that what is the future he brings? We care about our children, what education they get, what they wear, how happy they'll be, where they sleep. Now the man has to be careful and consider what life shall my soul create, because those are the children of your soul. As we see, the rays of the sun has become a planet and 7 billion children of it. 7 billion unlimited, which is growing. So the soul of the man will go through the same process. How many billions and subdivisions and sub-matter state of the physicality of the man your soul shall create? Would it be the soul of wars and conflict and forever killing? Or would it be the soul of this, let's say, solar system, which is peaceful? This is the truth and the reality about the soul of the man. First of all, as I said many times recently, we never understood that the soul of the man is within the structure of the man. And now that we understood, we understand on departure from the physicality of the man, the same process will carry on as it did for a star, a planet. And the soul of the man becomes another energy source, a higher order, which itself leads to the creation. It becomes the star, it becomes the center of a new cycle of creation. This is what the human race has to understand. The cycle actually starts at the point of death and not finishes at the point of death. In so many ways, if one understands, is as the dusts, specks of dust came together to make the earth in the solar system, so has the specks of the atoms has come to be the creator of man. And the essence of the creation of the specks of dust on the solar system has led to the creation of man. So shall be the fields from the soul of the man which lead to creation of another cycle of life. What kind of life man would like to have to be created by his soul? This is the day of judgment. This is what man never understood. Now you have to understand. You have no choice. Up to today you were not aware of it. From today you are aware of it. You are responsible for it. Your conduct has to be to elevate your soul. That in elevating the soul, what you become the creator of stands correct in the conduct of the citizens. We don't give a fairy tale. This is the truth. But as you've seen, the process does not stop with one sun. The cycle carries on. It's very interesting in how humanity now knows in fact to handle the fact. It'll take decades for man to understand, and then you understand those who become the tools of war, the tools of conflict. They have less, they have nothing to start with. They have to become the dust in the solar system of the others till the day they learn more, as they cannot create a new cycle through their own soul. This is the elevation of the soul of the man. To be part of the creation of a beautiful life for the next cycle. When you don't have it, you have to become another cell in the body of the structure of the bigger, for you to be just there that you can done when you could have been the soul of the man. They say, do not create fear. I give you the point of love for creation. If you cared about your children on this planet to have the best, your true children come out of your own soul in the coming time. How would you like to educate them? How would you like to be when you are in conflict with yourself and the cause of so much mayhem? This is the truth. And the man will take a long time to understand, as now that we understand the soul of the man is an operator for the creation of the future extent of the life of the man. Whatever is gathered by the soul at the end becomes his point of reference of his own creation of his own dimension. But the strangest thing is, what he creates from his soul shall become the creator of the other souls. This is the beauty about the creation, and one understands it, understands no limitation.